Yeah, you know what? I think I'm actually going to go for I'm going to go 3-2 in favor of Elysium here. I think Blizzard has a lot on the line today, and they're going to show up. But we are in the match here. Xeno on the Ghostface. This is his pick. And man, it's been so long since I casted a Ghostface here. He's already found some stock here on the bottom side of the map. Survivor getting stocked up a little bit there. They must have seen him as they ducked out of line of sight, as now Zube sees the ghost face, sees Xeno. He's in chase now over by this bottom side room. There's a very strong pallet over here, trying to crouch to avoid that stalk, maybe trying to reveal the killer, but he actually does get taken out of the Night Shroud there, so a little bit of a slowdown for him in the early game, and he doesn't have Corrupt Intervention either, Flightless, opting for the Sloppy Butcher and the Eruption, along with Ruin and Pain Resonance. So interesting here, if he's not able to get a lot of stock, that lack of Corrupt Intervention might end up hurting him. But also, the Survivor team, they kind of want to play in a way that they aren't on gens early. Maybe if you want to explain that, Flightless. I know you have experience with it too.
Yeah, I have always been an advocate for not bringing corrupt on a killer like Ghostface because look at these survivors right now. They are doing they're playing Clash Royale on their phones right now while stealthing at pallets, and that's an instant hit. Okay, that is a very bad hit for them as well. They make like no distance off that. They're going to have a body block
Yeah,
already.
and
That's
he's
a two tap.
supposed to be making what is usually a god pallet there, but instead he's coming at it from the wrong direction, so he's actually two tap. That is,
And
frankly, a pretty big mistake from the survivors there. Saudi needed a body block, and you can't be giving up a hit at one of those pallets there when you're just on Ghostface spotting duty.
based on that pathing, it looked like they were going straight to that window and then saw the basement there last second. And they realized if they run to that window, they fall down and they die. So they probably double backed. And now we're already in chase with We Jason, meaning a survivor is going to have to get off their gen, and Ruin's going to be doing work. But I will go back on to what I was saying about the build. With Ghostface, with stealth killers, you want to play slow at the start. You don't want to get free hits, you don't want to get free stock. And, well, never mind, he gets free stock anyway. Now we have a second stage at 5 generators. And we can see on the HUD that Zoob is healing, which means that Ruin is doing even more work. That gen is now below 50%, and that is the highest progress we have. We have, like, nothing else.
Yep, Xeno is feeling great right now. He's got 2 downs, has not felt the need to use a single pain resonance, has just traded out in the basement. Powa there was the survivor that he stalked right at the beginning down the hallway. So, oh, geez, just comes right around the corner, jump scares Zoob, and gets another injury here. That's 3 survivors injured now, as the unhook is going to come in the basement. Xeno right back to the hook. He's doing a little bit of body blocking. Is he going to be able to keep the survivor in the basement? He's doing a pretty good job. 15 seconds, though, is kind of a long time, as Powa eventually going to break out of there. But I think the idea for Xeno is to keep him on the top side. Interesting here is the lack of Olsen's wallet on this Ghostface build. He's not going to be getting that power reset when he kicks a pallet, which is usually really important on this map, but it just doesn't matter for Xeno. He's just built different. Gonna get another fresh down onto Zoob, but now he's going to slug, and I like this play a lot, Flightless, because of the ruin.
Yeah, not only does he have Ruin, he hasn't used a single pain res yet. So if he finds Saudi or Powa, and he gets it down relatively quickly, or, a free injury and finds We Jason, that is huge. Ruin is eating up Zoob's gen right now, eating up whatever progress Saudi got during their downtime, and they have pain res coming up soon, most likely. Based on the fact that we have 4 injuries at 5 gens without anyone about to pop a gen anytime soon.
Yeah, and I love
And
the way Xeno is playing this, as he's just gonna find the reset again. Powa and Zoob just can't do anything. Caught off guard by this Ghostface. Xeno is just stalking between the rooms out of line of sight. And I don't know if it's just the comms are off for Blizzard, or if they just aren't aware that he's coming. It's just Xeno, he's just bouncing between the corners here. He's not kicking pallets, he's not committing to bad chases or strong pallets. He's just saying, I use my game sense to find the reset. I leave, I use my game sense to find the other reset. And he's just tearing Blizzard apart here.
And we Jason showed us exactly why Ruin is such a good perk on this killer. Power got hooked, calmed. I don't know where the killer is. Went this direction. Then anyone in that direction instantly gets on a pallet or a good check spot and plays safe. And while they do that, Ruin destroys the generator. And we find a miss swing, but it doesn't matter because they have nothing. Another down already. Xeno's playing for a 4K5 here. And at this rate, he might get it.
Yeah, with Ruin up, the 4K5 is not actually out of the question. As Heal going to be coming in under the hook for Powa. I mean, he should be able to get that off before Xeno gets back. And this gen down to about 60% now. If you are Xeno here, do you try to preserve the 4K5, go for Wee Jason, that injured survivor on the gen, or do you go for the reset? I think Xeno here, he's smart. He's going to take the safer play, try to find this reset, maybe the dead on hook survivor in Powa. And yeah, I think Xeno knows that while the 4K5 is cool and an attractive prospect, it's not realistic. He wants to secure a perfect result for his team here, as we know that Elysium is going to be quite disciplined on this Ghostface set for Survivor. Another hit going to come in onto Saudi there, and every injured Survivor in this Ghostface set is just so much more exponential pressure for Xeno.
Sloppy tags for Ghostface are absolutely huge. And it looks like we find the first Death Hook survivor, I think. Or not? Was that 2 sets of blood? It looked like that might have been Saudi popping that gen. Or even Wee Jason. Wee Jason may have gotten the gen. Yeah, it looks like it. Wee Jason rotated from the gen to the pool, and Powa got on the gen and took it over. That's a smart play from the survivors, not giving Xeno a free chase on the Death Hook survivor. But now this is another pain res, and they have like no gen progress right now. I think this is the only gen that has any progress at the moment. Zoob and Saudi have been trying to find each other to heal this entire time, and yeah, it looks exactly like I thought. And he even finds the reset, meaning Saudi is now in danger.
Yeah, exactly. It's Xeno is just he's stalking through these middle rooms out of line of sight, finding these resets over and over again, and that's another injured survivor here. Saudi not going to live long on this filler pallet, and now that's going to be 2 survivors. Death Hook here. Xeno is just slicing through Blizzard here like a hot knife through butter. As another pain resonance comes in. Wee Jason going to be unhooked here, and Xeno knows that if he can reasonably find another one of these resets, he might be finding that Death Hook survivor that he needs in Powa. So now Zube going to be in chase again. This isn't exactly who Xeno needs to kill, but at 4 gens, like he can take basically any chase or hit he wants, as long as it's not to one of the god pallets on the bottom side.
Yeah, they're constantly taking hits on the top side as well, meaning that they are not making that much distance to bottom side, which is where the survivors have been most of this game. I think we've seen maybe 2 chases bottom side this entire time, with 6 hooks already. So it's been quite a long time spent on top. And now we have all 4 survivors injured. Whatever gen Power is on is now getting regressed unless someone's rotated for it. Does not fall for the mind game. Breaks his god pallet. Okay, now this god pallet may save Saudi some time now, but that means they have nothing for later.
And that's a palette that should have been used very early on in the game, similarly to how you would want to play Midwich in a competitive set, as Saudi just running towards the top side of the map here, does not have any pallets or really anything to work with. They're going to go down dead on hook as well, so Xeno does not seem to actually want to pick up just yet. Seems to know something, as maybe there's another injured survivor over here. He's got some scratch marks and blood, and he's going to find Wee Jason. You know, I don't know about leaving the Death Hook survivor down to chase Wee Jason. Does give them the opportunity to pick up, but it looks like Xeno just has all the time in the world, as Blizzard opted to pop another gen instead of rushing over here to pick up their Claudette. As this is going to be first kill here for Xeno. No pallet save can come in because that's already dropped. As yeah, I feel like Flightless, the god pallets on the bottom side of this map needed to be dropped much earlier on into the game.
Yeah, that's the issue though, is that they couldn't take chase bottom. They've not been bottom like hardly at all this entire time. They've been having to struggle with this top side with basically no pallets. They've had just a couple. You really haven't seen Xeno even playing for his gens. Like he checks them every so often to find survivors, but he doesn't really defend them. He just goes there, finds survivor, chases, downs them, rinse and repeat over and over again. And Ruin has done incredible work for him. Without Ruin this game, this probably would be 2 gens left right now. At at best. But with Ruin, he's able to slow this game down so much. That's exactly why he slugged Saudi. He knew that someone was going to be working on that gen top left, and he decided to leave and just see if they were there. And then Ruin has made this go from, I think it was maybe 80% to below 50. Unless,
Here's
never
another
mind,
gen.
they're here again.
We Jason just not reacting to the sounds of the ghost face there. And you were just talking about the ruin, and there it goes again. It's going to be the 4th and final pain res stack here for Xeno, and it is going to hit that gen that we just saw him defend. And yeah, since the survivors have still failed to find ruin, it's doing so much work this game. As like ruin in the 3v1, I mean, even if they cleansed ruin like 5 minutes ago, it still would have put in enough work for it to be worth it for Xeno here, with how much it's done this game. As now Xeno going to be stealthing around on the top side of the map near the hook. He's careful not to show himself to Jason so that that comm doesn't come in about where he is. And Unhook going to be coming in now, as looks like Powa is working a bottom side gen. Maybe a comm came in there that the killer was not seen, but he's just back to the same gen. Zoob takes a free hit, and now Xeno wants to focus on getting Jason out of the game here. Drops that filler pallet. Much weaker once it's dropped, and he's not going to last very long there against this ghost face. Xeno choosing to slug once again. He's got Zoob in his sights. Injured survivor on the top side. Looks like he got stuck on the wall a little bit there, Flightless, and that's going to be 2 down at the same time. Xeno wants to end this game right now and secure a 4K3 for Elysium.
That is a very, very, very good result, especially on ping, because Elysium, although they are very good survivors on indoor maps especially, they are going to be having to play versus South American ping, which is never easy. So having a good win condition like this is huge for them. Now, Powa is doing good to force locker, but I don't think it's going to really matter. Jason should be able to get the pickup on Zoom, but they're going to be found basically instantly injured with no gen progress in the 2v1. And if they can maybe have chase bottom side for one of the others to pop a gen, it wouldn't really matter because Xeno would probably just leave them anyway. Means that he wouldn't have to worry at all. And in fact, they're not even going to bother. They're just going to try to pop this gen, and Xeno finds them. So that is 4K3 confirmed.
Yep, 4K3 here for Xeno on the ghost face, and you can tell that this was his pick. Xeno is just locked in today on this killer, but also I feel like Blizzard had a lot of miscommunication there. They gave a lot of hits that they probably shouldn't have. They were trying to play safe at the beginning, but in the end, Xeno caught them off guard, and he landed a lot more basic M1s than I thought he would. And like we said, when the ghost face is stalking on Larry's here, when he's got the sloppy butcher spreading injuries, it can be extremely difficult to come back from. It's a very demanding set for the survivors, and Xeno just thoroughly overpowered Blizzard here.
Yeah, he didn't even have to use his eruption. He just had ruin the entire time. He was 3 per ghost face and still getting a 4K3, which on this ping, fair enough.
From happening as long as humanly possible, because when ping is involved here, if your chase has taken you to playing a filler palette against this killer, it's basically already over. There's not really any winning on that unless unless you can just make something insane happen. So Elysium here is going to try to opt to have perfect communication and really, really safe check spots that they're holding. And Ivan going to be getting found basically instantly and tagged up with the Sloppy Butcher. I mean, he's able to reveal Wee Jason. He barely got any stock there before that first hit. Ivan immediately runs to the bottom side, so this isn't the end of the world for Elysium. Also, Wee Jason does have Corrupt Intervention here, where Zeno didn't, so, and no Ruin either, so bit of a difference there. And it looks like, uh-oh, Flightless. Ivan is 2-tap.
Oh, that's so sad. Pookie, no. It's okay. He just got scammed. He didn't have this pallet, you know. He definitely would have reached it for sure, 100% without a shadow of a doubt. So that's just the RNG god's fault. That's not his. He played perfect. Anyway, that was a very good death location because two reasons. One, that's on the corrupt side, so it's away from teammates. They saw corrupt and they go, okay, let's go to the other side of the map, and they're on the other side of the map right now doing gens. But also, look at this gen spread. This is a 4 gen, but 4 gens don't matter because he needs to get a 4K4 to win, a 4K3 to tie. He needs a 5 gen. He just doesn't have that. So if the survivors pop all 3 gens on top side, they've won.
Yep, exactly. It is an extremely difficult result here for Wee Jason, and I think it hurts just a little bit more that he doesn't have the Ruin here, because that would really be the enabler of this insane result that he needs, and that's going to be Ivan allowing himself to be found again. Just instantly throws one of those strong pallets. Can't really blame him too much here, as now Ivan revealing the killer once again. Gonna get mind gamed here. Oh, but he gets the stun. Perfect play there from Ivan on this outside filler pallet, and he's back over towards the top side now. Wee Jason breaking off, going to be going for an M1 at this stronger pallet in the mid area. Hits Pedro HZ there, and going to apply the eruption to the mid gen. Now staying on Pedro HZ as he goes over to the side of the map, but he's actually going to leave now, using his stealth, trying to figure out where to go next, as he is suspicious that there's a survivor resetting maybe somewhere nearby, but instead he's going to lose one of these topside gens. That topside 3 gen is broken, as Wee Jason now cannot let a single other generator go, or the win condition is going to be gone for Blizzard.
Yeah, and already the win condition is gone for Team Blizzard, so iPick is going to have to go down here. Never mind, he's leaving him. Wee Jason's going to have a down very soon. He gets a free injury, but that's not a down. So this is still looking very bad, and that's a god pallet. Zeno drops that, and he plays perfectly safe, and now they should have a lot of gen progress on a bottom side gen, because they have been left for a long time. But also, that main room gen is really high. So this is already a pre-dropped god pallet. I don't remember anyone dropping this in chase, so they
Yeah, this was pre-dropped.
Yeah, they must have dropped that to play extremely safe, and it ends up working out actually. Pizza Hurt's gonna take chase. He has no pallet here. Uh-oh, this might be a 2-tap, guys. Although he's already injured, it doesn't matter. Oh, and GG's. That is 3 gens popped. Yeah, this was basically impossible for Wee Jason from the start without Ruin. If he had Ruin, he could have maybe done it. He would have had a ton of snowball pressure, but with Eruption, it just isn't good enough. Having to waste time kicking those gens and having the slower regression speed just really does not do that much in the grand scheme of things. Gets that heal last second and protects Ivan at the same time. Yes. If Ivan dies this game, I'm going to change my prediction to Elysium losing 3-1, because I am wanting Ivan to escape. He deserves it.
Ivan gonna go down there once again, put up on his second hook here, but it's like Flightless said, this game is over. Elysium has met the win condition of popping 3 gens, and they're going to be trying to play to get as many outs as they can here, because they're still in a really good spot, even if they were the first side of the Ghostface set here. I pick about 50% of the way on a gen. They do have a 3 gen on the bottom side, but should be fine. It's not too tight, as there is one that's significantly further away than the others, and the bottom side is where the most abundant resources are on this map. As Jason walks right up to this God Palette and is forced to kick it, they're not going to be able to reset Xeno thanks to the hemorrhage, but he's actually just not going to take that M1 and instead go for the eruption. And yeah, he's going to have to waste so much time kicking gens here. Time is going to be lost, and Ivan surely going to be unhooked relatively soon. It would really help if he could somehow secure this kill on Ivan. But also, like, if you're Elysium, okay, never mind. They're just going to pull him. Ivan takes that endurance hit and runs down the map. I mean, you'd think that you might want to stay here as Ivan, as the bottom side of the map has the majority of the gens. Jason now chasing Ivan towards the top side of the map. Ivan, what is your pathing, buddy? He's confusing Jason. He's through the wall here. Oh, but he comes right back out in front of Jason. That's going to be the kill onto Ivan. Save for maybe a flashlight. But no, Ivan, not long for this world. But Elysium got significant gen progress from that.
Yeah, so now that Ivan is no longer in this game, I'm, like I said, changing my prediction. I hope Blizzard wins 3-1 and that Elysium is knocked out of this tournament, because Ivan should never die here. That is my Pookie, and he deserves better than what he's gotten. I'm very disappointed in Elysium today. But it looks like yeah, they're about to pop all the gens. Even though they're in the 3v1, we have iPick on another gen. Xeno was here recently, popping this one, and the other gen is very high progress. So it looks like Pedro's going. Never mind, he might not go down here. He has to play some 50s. I believe this is a hit. Yep, he fakes it, and so Jason gets the down. But eruption on that gen, I don't know if it's going to matter, because I think iPick pops regardless. They might have, yeah, I was about to say they mightn't be doubling, and they are. They're just trying to make sure they get at least 4K0. Xeno pre-leaves not to give a quick down. Does get found instantly, and iPick is zoned edge map there. Yeah, not really a whole lot Jason can do. Like the survivor. Okay, I was about to say the survivors are really split up, but Xeno just forces a grab, and I guess iPick is going for the pickup. Or Firecracker save even. Oh, they're juking, I see. I like this gameplay.
Yep, iPick wants maybe a little bit of a 1v1 here, as no, he's actually going for the pickup here onto Pedro. Gets it even with the sloppy butcher, but I think one of these survivors is not going to make it. Yeah, no made for this, or we're going to live forever here, like you might see that combo in your public matches. And now the pickup tag is not going to work here. There hasn't been enough time on Xeno's recovery bar. Missing that swing there is Jason, as Pedro HZ going to be making a little bit more distance. Oh, tries to go for a little mind game there on nothing, but it's not going to work. It's going to be the down. All 4 survivors from Elysium are now either dead or on the ground, but that win is secured in the Ghostface set. So Elysium going to be going up 1-0 in this series, winning their pick on the Ghostface extremely decisively, I might add. So we're going to be going into the artist set next, which was picked by Blizzard. And I mean, if you've got all the momentum here as Elysium, imagine if they just take it through here and win that artist set as well. Blizzard needs to do a mental reset here, prepare for their set, because you don't want to lose that after a decisive loss like this.
Yeah, we have good sets coming up, so hopefully this isn't a 3-0. I kind of want to see the ghoul, so I hope it goes to tiebreaker. But with Elysium, there's never really a killer that you just say, yep, they're going to lose that. They're just too good of a survivor squad, and also they just have too good of killers. Whether it's Xeno or Obi on an artist, it's still very dangerous artist player. And then they'll have Freddy right after, which is even their pick. So this very well could just be a 3-0 at this rate. Jason kind of needs to win this to change momentum, I think.
Like, not always the experience when you load up for a match of competitive DBD. Jason here got a really good split of gens down the map, and he's already going to find iPick with a swarm. Okay, now this is crazy. He is not running Severed Hands, Jason. He's got Ink Egg and Untitled Agony. I have never seen this combo before, It's mainly just that there's no severed hands. So that's going to be an M1 here onto Xeno, opting to just not interact with those birds on that window. That would have been a really good setup for Jason if Xeno had actually chosen to interact with the birds. So now over towards main is Xeno. He's got a relatively good pallet here in the corner. Ruin leaving the trial. Xeno going to get swarmed up by a bird there. Jason waiting for that cooldown to come back. He's got 4 birds here, and Xeno not going to make it all the way to the corner. He gets hit by the snipe. Jason, that's a pretty good first down, but he's already exchanged it for his Ruin, and he's not going to have a pain res here. Flightless, what do you think about the lack of severed hands here?
I think in this case, I mean, I would always suggest bringing severed hands. The ability to use one crow to affect multiple survivors is just too good to miss out on, but I don't really hate the ink egg play because there's, like I said before, there's no choke point, so you need to use more crows on the center if you're trying to find survivors, which means that ink egg comes into play. But this build, when I said that you usually see rapid brutality, you usually do, but you also see agitation because hook placement is very important on an artist. Being able to hook in dead zones means that when that survivor is eventually unhooked, then you can get a pretty quick down, which is huge for the artist. But we're seeing forced penance instead. I was definitely not expecting that. I guess Jason is expecting them to try their hardest to make it to the opposite side of the map with body blocks. And it looks like we're just taking the trade. Yeah, well, never mind. We're going to be tunneling because Xeno is injured with no pallets around, with only 15-second BT, which lasts a long time, but will be up very shortly. And Pedro Hertz is slugged while also being broken, so he can't even be healed when he's picked up. And that's a 2-tap chase as well.
And Xeno did not last very long there, Flightless, and I think now's a pretty good time to talk about that other add-on, which is one that we don't really see, but one that I actually really like. It's Untitled Agony. It is a 15% hinder on Swarm for 1.5 seconds. And you might think 1.5 seconds, that's not very much. Seems kind of useless, but 15% is an extreme hinder. Like, that's up there with clown bottles. So it really makes a difference in those loops.
It's actually more than clown bottles. Clown bottles is 14%. So it's 1% more for free. It's basically like having a clown bottle. And it's even more than Freddy Snare.
I'm actually really starting to see the vision here on Jason's build, as Pedro HZ is tagged up with a bird there. Jason, he's defending a central hook. He's got pain res on Xeno, who's dead on hook. 2 gens are being done, but without much progress. And Jason, he's going to be trying to make this unhook really painful. And now I think I see with the lack of severed hands, Jason is actually making up for that with that forced penance. Because the reason you use severed hands in comp is that you want to deny those body blocks and altruistic plays. And now, with every trade, that survivor's getting broken for 80 seconds with forced penance. No body blocks are going to come in here unless it's Ivan. And I mean, Ivan's another fresh survivor. It's going to be more survivors off gens. Bird hits. Really patient one there from Jason. He goes for the swing, not going to land, but he's got 4 birds to follow up here. Flightless, this snipe is so important. Jason lets it fly, and he hits it. Xeno down on the edge map, and that's going to be a kill here for Blizzard.
He does get a relatively early kill, although it's artists on the other side of the map. They're resetting, although iPick can't because of that force penance value. Very good perk choice in this scenario. Not that much gen progress, because Pedro already popped a generator and is now... That might have been Pedro. It could have been Ivan or Pedro. I'm not sure. But one of them popped a generator and is now on another. And Ruben's gone. So this could be a 4K1. Possibly. I think it definitely is possible if the survivors make a mistake. If they get sniped here... Yeah, I think the much less density of the pallets is going to make this a lot more difficult for the survivors.
Yeah, and it's a relatively quick down there onto iPick. We Jason gonna be able to get him over to that same hook that he had Zeno on, and this is such a good hook. It's perfectly in the middle of the map. The pain resonance has we Jason gonna be throwing birds over to these gens, and they do have a 2-2 split, so that is good for Elysium. But anything else that we Jason here is able to get, it's just gonna stack up more and more pressure for Blizzard and make that result harder and harder for Elysium. And it looks like we Jason is content to sit around the hook here. He's waiting for that bird cooldown. Ink Egg does make the cooldown significantly longer than usual when you use those 4 birds. As Ivan working on a gen here, and Pedro going for the save. As long as this Pedro, his goal here, Flightless, is to not make this a trade. You don't want to get hit with that broken in the 3v1. You don't want to be trading onto a pain res. But also, we Jason, he knows that he can afford to camp here. There's only one survivor on a gen. That's what the birds are telling him here. So even though Ivan's just finished this gen, he wants to get I picked a second. So Pedro here, I don't think he's going to go in for a trade.
Yeah, I mean, we Jason can literally just camp this from this point because the hook stage has now hit second stage, and he has 70 seconds until iPick is dead, which means that the generator that Ivan is now working on cannot be completed in that time, especially with crows constantly being launched. And now he's found Pedro, meaning that never mind, we're not going to be committing to it. We don't really care. We're just going to let iPick die here and then play the 2v1, which is not that bad. If Pedro had been working his gen this entire time, they probably could be popping sometime soon. But because Pedro has been playing for the pull, expecting we Jason to maybe pressure Ivan, they have only one gen being progressed. Maybe it looks like Pedro's going to be taking the trade now. This might not even be. Never mind, it is a trade, and it's going to be pain res. I don't know if that trade was worth it.
I'm not quite sure myself. Now iPick's in chase, dead on hook. Ivan is going to be on that final gen. And you know what? I think I actually noticed something there on Pedro that makes this trade worth it. He's got tenacity, Flightless. I swear I saw that on his build. And iPick is now zoned into the corner of the map. He has a Z-wall, but he's not going to last very long on it. As iPick going to go down in the corner. This can't be pain res. Ivan has been working this gen the whole time. Going to be hitting his great skill checks, and I believe Pedro HZ has been crawling towards the gen this entire time, and it's going to be finished. So good for the win condition there in the case of Elysium, and Pedro HZ, he's already there and fully recovered with that tenacity. So actually a really smart play there from Elysium, making do with what they have, as that bird is going to miss onto Ivan. And now, if you're we Jason, 6 stages would be an extremely disappointing result with the start and the chases that you had here. You need to find something and finish one of these chases. Doesn't matter which survivor it's on. He's going to opt for Ivan here because that's the survivor he's been able to find. Just one more chase to finish here. We Jason wants to set up these birds. Ivan opting not to interact with them. Smart choice here from an artist main, as Ivan going edge map now over back towards the door. We Jason probably needs to hit at least one bird here to make this worthwhile, as Ivan over towards this door. Pedro HZ surely working on it. I don't think both of them make it out here, Flightless. That's going to be the flashbang attempt. It's too late. And I think that is going to be we Jason securing 9 stages, 3 fresh.
Yeah, that was almost perfect timing from them. And you were right, that without the tenacity, that was not a very good trade from Pedro. But with tenacity, that actually was a good play, because not only was Ivan able to pop gen for iPick's 3rd stage, because he had a little bit more time, he was able to get Pedro to be on the other side of the map. So they were on the same side.
It's another instance of Untitled Agony. I'm feeling very vindicated right now. Other artist mains have told me this add-on is bad, and I didn't believe them. But the Severed Hands are present on the build here. So Obi without the forced penance, he's going to be relying on the severed hands to deal with altruism there, spreading the swarms between the survivors. And he's got the rapid brutality as well. So I've talked about the 15% hinder from the Untitled Agony. Now combine that with the 5% haste of rapid brutality, and you have a very fast bird.
Yeah, you like making those M1s matter so much less when the survivor forces the M1 for with rapid is so huge for the artist. And Obi just walks straight through that pallet, expecting Power to greet it, and he does. So now he does make a lot less distance to the shack, and he's able to zone him. Does he? No, he definitely doesn't get the down here, but he gets a free throw. So this is going to give him an advantage for this coming up chase. But also the agitation. I think this is going to be very good, especially with a basically 4K0 win con. Anything more than 9 stages is basically a 4K. So I think being able to have good hook spawns is going to matter a lot. Pau goes down on the edge of the map, and we have 2 gens really high progress. That does not feel like it's been that long into the match. It feels like it's been 5 seconds. We already have 2 gens about to top.
Yeah, Fedinit there actually waiting to allow his gen to get hit by Pain Res because Zoob and Jason's gen was so much closer to the killer. Really interesting play. Great heads up play from Blizzard there. I'm impressed with that, Flightless. As they popped the much more important gen without it getting hit by the Pain Res. And now Fedinit actually getting chased off of that gen. Snipe coming up. Not going to land, though, just yet. Fedinit completes that repel action and going to make making the pallet as well. Gen going to be completed there. It's going to be the second one here for Blizzard. That was the one that Fedinit just got shoved off of, and Powa unhooked in the distance. They are healing under the hook there, but that bird is going to miss. There's another one going to be launched there. Hits that survivor with the hook state. Powa immediately into the locker there. Nice counterplay as another swarm. Patience from Zeno. Or Obi. That's a good shot. As now over towards this raised wooden structure here. Snipe coming in. Oh, but Powa threads the needle, Flightless. That third crow just not going to land as Obi just not able to hit that snipe onto Powa. Now playing this pallet gem. Dropped up by Powa. Nicely done. As he's going to get hit with another swarm here. Don't think he's going to be making this pallet. As yeah, that's going to be the second down here onto Powa. But significant gen progress for Blizzard again. As Obi going to be carrying him down to the bottom side of the map. Smart idea from Obi here. You can tell that he's shifting his focus towards playing for this top side 3-gen, and I wouldn't be surprised at all to see that one of these 3-gens is the one that Blizzard is currently working. So birds going to be placed across the top of the map here. Yeah, significant progress on this gen closest to the hook, and they're actually going to basically farm Powa. Basically betting everything on this chase here, Flightless. It's going to need to be big here for Blizzard. Powa needs to make it down to the other side of the map. He's swarmed up. Snipe coming in here any second now as Powa just barely dodges that bird there. It's a big miss from Obi. There's a chance that he might... Okay, no, he doesn't make this pallet. Not able to die on it either, but it looks like the progress coming in from Blizzard is immense.
Yeah, Jason's about to pop his gen as well. I think they've already popped one of the gens in the 3-gen, or one of the ones at least close. Finds Jason's gen, but Zoob has been working on that gen that was right next to Powa's hook this entire time. So yeah, it's already up to about 75%. So they have 2 gens left and 2 gens about to pop already. So it looks like Jason also has completely stealthed him. Never mind, it's been found. Obi basically needs a pain res now. He needed a pain res yesterday. This is looking very good from the survivor side.
Yeah, and I think this is where the game plan from Jason ended up being really helpful, as he was taking trades on those pain res hooks constantly throughout the mid game. Even though he was still managing to get the tunnel out onto Zeno. As now Jason in chase. He's got a couple of fillers here to work with. Obi placing down birds. Jason, patient, not dropping the pallet just yet. Back towards the other one now. The bird just disintegrated there. That cooldown perfectly in Jason's favor. He's still going to go down to the second one, and this will be a pain res onto Fednit's gen as he lets go of it to avoid the scream. As a second fresh hook here for Obi, but we're still at 1 gen remaining. He's going to need a lot here.
And,
Doesn't
and
find
actually,
anybody on the bottom side.
I think I'm going to have to correct you there. I think that was Zoob's gen that got pain res, meaning that was Shaq. Because I'm pretty sure Fedinit started a whole new gen, unless I'm mistaken, but...
Oh, you're right. You know, I did hear the scream of the Nia there, but I didn't see the progress next to Zoob's portrait, so I think you're right.
Yeah, sometimes it glitches out and it doesn't exactly show. Maybe it was the... No, see, this gen didn't explode from the pain res. Very nice snipe from Obi. So I think Zoob's on another gen right now. If he pops soon and is able to get this pull, yep. Actually, wait. Obi is about to get this down on Fed, and if he can hit this crow, oh.
Okay, this is actually somewhat dangerous for Blizzard. The way that they chose to pop that gen without getting the unhook onto Jason, as now he's actually setting up a stagger onto the hook, possibly. This unhook's not coming in just yet, but it does now. Swarm's gonna land, and that's gonna be the endurance stripped right off of Jason with the staggered bird. Huge play here from Obi, and now Zoob forced to play this filler pallet. How long can you last here? This is such an important chase because Jason is now put into mending. Gonna be taking that M1 here, and Jason, Obi knows that he's running across the map here to get the pickup onto Fednit. Sees that survivor, scratch marks, really good game sense from Obi. He's going to be trying to play the whole map here to get this win condition in the end game. Bird's going to land there onto Fednit. The stagger was a little bit too early, as Jason now in chase once again, and he's going to be forcing locker, but it's just not fast enough. He's going to go down, as now playing these doors is Obi. He's got a bird hitting one of them, but Zoob off the gen here, or off the door, as Obi trying to play this double window now. Over in the corner of the map, though, is Zoob. Doesn't want to deal with those birds at all. Jason picked up very quickly by Fednit. These survivors need to spread out so quickly here, Flightless. This is really dangerous, as actually Jason gets fully healed. That's huge here. Can't believe they actually had time for that.
Yeah, Fedinit must have some sort of healing perk, because that was very, very quick, but this is still a good position for Obi, because, yes, Jason may be healthy, but he's the one survivor that Obi doesn't actually care about. Because if he gets killed, and one of the other survivors gets out, that's still 9 stages. And that means that Obi will end up tying, and he wants the win. So if he can get it down on Zoob here, and Jason goes for the pickup, which it looks like they get this gate open, actually. Okay, not quite. Not yet.
And that's actually really smart from Blizzard. They're putting the survivor that they know Obi doesn't care about on the door to force progress here. So Jason swarmed up. He's got the door almost to maximum completion, as now Fednit going to be picked up here by Zoob. But now Obi, he's got both of these injured survivors in the corner on the artist. What is he going to do here? Not even going to be able to go for the shot here, because Zoob going to be going over into the corner. Oh, Flightless, these survivors are putting Obi in such a lose-lose situation. The snipe not going to land either. That would have been absolutely insane if it did. But I think in the end, it's the clean play here from Blizzard that's going to be giving them this win.
Yeah, it was. If Ivan had been able to make it out of that door, this would have been such a different story. It would have been 6 stages compared to 9, and Obi, even trying to play for the 4K0, he got 5 stages. As long as Zoob gets out here, which I think he will. He's probably made it to hatch by now. Dang, that was looking very strong from the Survivor Squad. Like, they had so much gem progress, and the chases weren't even that fast. They did amazingly to split. I saw at the beginning.
But I guess it has to do with that lack of a terror radius in the public matches, as now we are into the game here. Going to be very different with these survivors, the best in the world, and Zeno here, potentially the best Freddy in the world. And interesting add-on there, making it faster for him to use the dream snares. Is that right, Flightless?
Yes, I forget the name of the add-on, but I don't know. Zeno has loved this add-on forever. It is called Prototype Claws. It increases the charge speed of the snare by, I think it's maybe 50%. I'm not entirely sure, but I don't know. I've always hated this add-on because I think it is basically useless considering you get like no slowdown at all. But
You know, I actually see
Zeno,
the vision. Is
don't think I've ever seen Zeno not run this add-on.
I
I
think the
personally,
reason why
yeah,
he's running this add-on is to have a smoother swap between the pallets and snares.
yeah, that doesn't really work, unfortunately, because when you press Control or whatever key it is to switch between snares and dream palettes, there's this little delay that keeps happening,
Yep. Yeah,
and
I felt it.
it, yeah, there's unfortunately, as far as I know, there's no way to fix that. So it is a little annoying, but personally, I'm a big fan of Unicorn Block, which is, in my opinion, one of his best add-ons. But I see they've already gotten rid of Ruin. They've already gotten 2 survivors immune, so not a whole lot of Dream Mode progress. And also, Xeno not going with Sloppy Butcher. Now, I understand the Ruin play, because with cross ping, you're usually getting hits quite often anyway, and he's looking for the savior. But I don't know. Sloppy Butcher is just too good of a perk. I think we do have ping rules though, so Sloppy Butcher isn't allowed. I believe that's what Jules said yesterday.
Yeah, so Zeno here, he's got his first down in relatively short order. He's looking at the beginning like he was suspicious that somebody was in the area for the unhook, but now he's going to be extending himself over to the other side of the map. Unhook comes in onto Saudi as Zeno now going back towards the hook. And surely they wouldn't be healing at hook, right? As the survivor that did the save is Powa. Powa is currently awake, so the heal is able to come in without alerting Zeno to where exactly it is, but they're not going to be going for that heal here. Zeno going for a teleport in chase, fakes it, and it's going to be a head-on into a firecracker from Powa. Really nice play there from Blizzard to try to get Zeno off the trail of that potential tunnel out. Going to give kind of a free M1, though, which is not exactly what you want. Zeno, at least that hit wasn't onto the survivor with a hook state, though. Generator going to be finished across the map by Wee Jason. Zoob also on a generator here over by Shaq, and now looks like Zeno is leaving those injuries to kind of go back towards the other side of the map. Did he just pop that dream pallet with no vision on top of the main building?
Yeah, this is exactly why Zeno is my favorite Freddy player, because I do those exact same plays where I don't know if a survivor's there or not. They could be, so I just pop the dream pallet. Gives me no cooldown, and there's basically no waste of time from it. It's pure profit. So I love doing it. And we've already found Saudi again, so this might be the second stage. This is a pretty weak pallet. Oh, he makes that. Freddy having base kit coup de grace. Going to be taking this hook next to this gen, which I don't think Wee Jason's going to pop. He does not, which means that now he has, I think, a 3 gen here. I think he has the main building, this gen, yep, and a gen just behind him.
That's crazy. He's actually just putting that pallet up there over and over again to keep them off of doing main gen. He's waiting for the eruption here. He's just constantly exploding a dream pallet up there on top of the main building, just in case anybody's doing that gen. He wants to keep this gen as long as humanly possible. Really creative use of the dream pallets here from Zeno, just like you said, as there is a lot of progress on that gen. So seconds saved there for Zeno, as now he's extending himself away from the hook here, but I mean, he's going to be keeping that teleport up, I'm sure, for when that unhook does come in. Now, Zeno sees the completed gen here and finds the potential savior, using his teleport there, actually in chase to get a hit onto Zoob. Very interesting play there. I'm surprised Zoob didn't see that coming, as he's going to wake himself up. Unhook coming in now onto Saudi, as Zeno just going to take that endurance hit and chase him into the corner of the map here. Not enough range there on that dream snare, as Saudi now in his final chase. He's got one of these little jungle gyms here. How long can he last, though? This is a really important chase for Blizzard, but he doesn't even have a body block or anything. Flightless, that's going to be a kill at 3 gens for Xeno.
Yeah, this is very good, but the Survivor team is playing extremely well right now. They have, I think, 2 gens about to pop. Now, if Xeno had chosen Uniblock, as I mentioned before, he would be able to defend this gen on main, no problem. Yeah, I'm pretty sure, could be wrong, it could be slightly off, but with Unicorn Block, you can hit both sides of this generator with that pallet. I'm pretty sure. Without Uniblock, you can only hit one.
Yeah,
So
and for you guys at home that aren't Freddy experts, Unicorn Block, I believe, is 14% extra range on Dream Palette explosions.
yes, it increases the radius by 14%. That has been an underrated add-on, I think, since his change. I remember when I first started grinding a win streak on him, I was using that add-on, and people were asking me why I was using it, because it's basically useless. Everyone was saying, jump rope Nancy's masterpiece. Nah, I had the vision of the Unicorn Block. It's such a fun add-on. Fedinet, oh, not Fedinet, we Jason playing 50s. I got confused by the Dwight play. And is he going to be able to stop this gen? He is. Now, an advantage also of teleporting is that if a survivor is within the radius of the teleport like explosion on the gen, that little fog explosion, it actually increases their Dreamworld timer. Doesn't help for survivors already in Dreamworld. A good stun there from Zoo, playing very patient.
Now on
And
this TL is Zub. I mean, this is a really dangerous place to be against a Freddy, and he's going to take that hinder there. Not going to last much longer as Xeno wins that mind game and gets that extremely strong hinder. Going to be slugging now is Xeno because, I mean, it's been pretty good gen progress here from Blizzard. Even though they gave up a kill at 3 gens, they've been able to pop 2 more. Zub now on the ground, and I think this is where Xeno wants to tighten his grip on this game. Dream Palette exploding there. Not going to hit Wade Jason because he's not asleep, as misses that snare there. And you'll notice that Xeno is going to be going for these snares to try to increase the sleep timer on Wee Jason. Misses that one. And no, actually hits that one. And no, the pallet explosion comes in. Man, Flightless, he switched to that so fast. As soon as he saw Wee Jason fall asleep. Really nice pallet kill there from Xeno.
yeah, that was literally the tip of the radius. That was very nice. Even without Unicorn Block, that hits. That's actually crazy. But now we find Zub. Powa did not end up getting reset. I think there was some progress, and there's no Sloppy Butcher, so he's going to stay progressed on his heal. Because of the prototype clause does not make that vault. Does he get hit by the Dream Palette as well? No, he does not. He has live. Makes a little bit too much distance, and he barely doesn't get that hit. I don't think it'll matter though, because he's dying right next to the hook. Either Pow is going to have to try to pop a gen, or he's going to be here with the pull. And it looks like, I think, yeah, he's trying to pop this gen. This gen is really high progress already. So I wonder where Powa stealth to. He's already at the unhook. Getting a little stuck, but teleport is on cooldown, so the survivors are safe for the moment.
And it looks like Xeno was a little bit suspicious there that they might have been playing for the completed gen. Now, kind of a little bit of a mistake to go for the hit there, but it doesn't end up mattering. The head-on is charged for Powa, but he's going to miss it there onto Xeno. Xeno not going to fall for that head-on twice. It's going to be a trade onto Powa. I believe that's his his third pain res stack. As now, Wee Jason in chase again near this shack. He's got shack into an Ormond tile. Shack with no pallet, and the Ormond pallet is dropped. Now, Wee Jason opting to hold W over towards the main building. He's got this balanced landing here. Gonna need to make something out of it, but he gets stuck. Oh no! That is heartbreaking for Blizzard Flightless.
Yeah, Wee Jason mistakes himself for a staircase, and he hits that railing. But, I mean, I don't think it really would have mattered, because as we saw, Zub got on a gen, and it was like 25%. With a hook on the complete other side of the map. So I think this is looking like a confirmed 4K1, especially with Zub about to hit Dreamworld, meaning that if he gets chased here, he will be very quickly downed. Injured with snares and dream pallets is very scary. Never mind. Instant unhook on Wee Jason. He's not gonna be able to get his unhook because of that snare, by the way. With snares, you can actually interrupt unhooks. It works the same as clown bottle, so it makes them scream and interrupts any action that they're doing. Opting not to go for Wee Jason because of that 15-second BT. How it hits second stage as well. Another live. And Wee Jason also choosing not to farm him, setting up his Dream Palette instead. Now see, this is why Shaq normally is a very good loop for his Freddy, but as soon as that pallet's gone, it's very in Freddy's favor. You have the snares for the window, and then you have the Dream Palette for if they decide to hold W away from it. Calm Spirit actually saving that. Oh my god, that, like I said, snares interrupt the unhook or any other action, but because of Calm Spirit, he doesn't actually scream, meaning he gets the unhook anyway. Ends up not mattering because Pao is just taking a hit for fun, but I mean, still, that was, I guess that's why Calm Spirit was picked. I was wondering why it was picked yesterday, because the scream is a good indicator if you hit a snare, but it doesn't really matter because you hear the sound notification anyway. And gets hit through that pallet. All right, so now I guess he's just gonna pick this up. Yeah, he's gonna just play for his 4K1 and not try to slug and give them time.
Yep, so Power here, he's working on a generator. Not enough progress here to take this, as should be relatively trivial for Xeno to find him, as Xeno seems to be suspicious that somebody is stealthing for the unhook, but this time it's just not the case for Blizzard. Yeah, it's going to be the vault noise notification triggered for Power as he's running back over to this raised platform. Should be over here in just a second for Xeno. He's placing pallets literally everywhere. Wants to try to zone him into it. Just not going to give him that pallet kill is Power. He's also not asleep, so even if he wanted to, Power going to be going down, and that's going to be the 4K1 secured for Xeno. Really good result on the Freddy. Nice conversion there, and just really showing good mastery of the power here is Freddy. And now it's going to be a pretty tough task here for Blizzard. I mean, they came with momentum from the artist set. I think they would have liked to have outs here Flightless, but 4K1 also isn't the end of the world. But it's still a pretty difficult result for their killer.
I think this is pretty expected, especially on cross ping. That hindrance makes like it.
These killers that have complicated ranged powers that can just kind of be thrown out while you're in chase, as with somebody else. As Wee Jason here, he's starting off in pallet form, already throwing a ton of pallets down, and I think that's what we want to see here from him. He's got the unicorn block, and I believe that's also Nancy's masterpiece there on the add-ons. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't play a ton of Freddy. I like to be correct about these add-ons, though, as Wee Jason immediately into a first chase here with Xeno, and he's already asleep Flightless, so this could be a fast start.
Yeah, that is huge, getting such a fast dream roll, because one, the other three survivors, they may be doing gens, but they're going to have to get clocked soon, and also that means this chase is going to be much faster, so it's exponentially stronger.
Oh, he dodges the head-on there.
Oh, Pedro does not expect him to double back, so he just uses his head-on and he doesn't get it. So now that is 2 injuries already. This is a very good start for Wee Jason, especially because I don't think Pedro makes this. He does make this pallet, okay, just barely. But now he has to play this with ping, and never mind. I think he vaulted that with quick and quiet. Doesn't quite make this window though. But I do have to correct you. That add-on is actually the paint thinner. I forget what it does now. It used to show the...
You know what? I think I know exactly what that add-on is. It's giving Killer Instinct when a survivor tosses down a fake pallet. We saw it activate there during the first chase with Xeno. My apologies, guys. It looked kind of like a painting there. So I was like, maybe it's Nancy's masterpiece. But okay, I was wrong. Paint thinner it is. So Wee Jason, he's going all in with the pallets here, isn't he?
Yeah, also, I'm pretty sure that, unless I'm thinking of a different add-on, whenever a survivor who is in Dreamworld drops a dream pallet, the killer is able to teleport onto them. And
You're right about that too. Yeah, it also does
yeah,
that.
it's increases the teleport cooldown for by a very large amount after they drop a dream palette. And I've seen some Freddy players saying that this add-on is one of his best, but I have I have been disagreeing with that this entire time. I think jump rope is definitely better, but I do like the play from Wee Jason. He's got unicorn block to make the pallets a lot stronger, so it's more likely that the survivors are to get rid of them. So maybe he can get some free teleports here and there. That could come in handy. They may not expect it, but there is a little icon down the bottom showing you that you're able to be teleported on, so it's not really going to do a whole lot. Wee Jason just taking the trade. He's going to be chasing Pedro. Dodges the snare. That's actually huge because although he doesn't get slowed down, he also is not in Dream World for even longer. So that is going to extend his chase a lot.
Yeah, if Pedro had been hit by that snare there, he'd already be in the dream world, and that's so important for this chase. Gonna be slept up now, and it's gonna be a body block coming in from Ivan, able to get between Wee Jason and his target there. Nice altruism here from Ivan, and now looks like Wee Jason actually gonna be diverting his target here onto Ivan. So the altruism from Ivan ends up saving his teammate for now, as Ivan, oh, what a play here on the pallet gym from him. He's not going to last much longer than that. I caster cursed him. After that piece of beautiful pathing, Ivan just runs into Wee Jason's waiting arms on the long side of the pallet gym, as going to go down on a pallet. Probably, I'm guessing there's nobody here to save, as most survivors are injured. This is going to probably be another pain resonance here for Wee Jason. No pain resonance. And I mean, without a tunnel out here, Wee Jason not in a great spot. He needs 4K2 to win, and survivors are doing a really good job to reset and stay awake mainly.
Yeah, and in fact, on top of that, Pizza Hurts is also stealthing edge map. He's stealthing behind a tree, away from everything. Now, Wee Jason actually just about teleported on top of him, but decided to fake it, thinking that maybe someone was on that gen, but they're not. Pedro is just stealthing there, so he doesn't go second stage by giving a free chase. And Wee Jason opting not to take the pain res on Ivan might come in handy later because he knows they don't really have a whole lot of gen progress yet. They popped one gen for the trade, and then Zeno was slugged, and iPick had to go for the pickup after popping his own gen, while Pedro not really being able to do a generator. So being able to camp this a second might help. Although Zeno just got a clock, he might be coming for a trade. No, looks like he's going to stick on his generator. So they're going to let Ivan just hit second stage here, which if Wee Jason can tunnel this out quickly, he can get a pain res and a death, meaning that as soon as he pain reses, he can leave. He doesn't have to camp that hook.
Yeah, and I think the play here for Elysium is going to be to leave Ivan all the way until the end of the hook stage. You don't want to give Wee Jason what he wants here in that like last hook pain res onto Ivan. And he's going to just pull Pedro out of the locker there. And, you know, I think Pedro actually knew that he was going to get pulled there, Flightless. I don't think that was a mistake from him. They did that on purpose, in sync with Ivan getting unhooked, and it's going to result in a full heal. So really nice play there from Elysium. Even though it looks like Pedro just did something silly, that was entirely planned.
Yeah, and very, very good play from Elysium there. I don't know about dropping that pallet, but Ivan being able to not be in Dream World allowed him to tear radius read Wee Jason on that pallet gem. Although he was in chase with chase music, it doesn't matter because you can still hear tear radius even through the chase music. So if Ivan, being a very good 1v1 player, is able to focus on that tear radius, he can basically play perfectly safe on that pallet gem. It's very unlikely that he gets mind game there. So now he's out of Dream World, he's immune, and the Death Hook survivor is away. Although we do find Zeno stealthing, and this actually might be really bad. If Zeno was able to stealth that, this should have been a win for Wee Jason. Although it does have a live, he's going to die on the other side of the map. He needs a death soon. Like, he needs it very, very soon. He has a high progress gen on bottom side next to that hook. Although, wait. Who's he? Oh, the add-on actually came in clutch. he was able to teleport onto iPick. He didn't. He teleported onto the gen, but he got rid of a dream palette, meaning that he was able to teleport to him super quickly.
Yeah, and now Jason, he's just going to be defending this hook here. He's making a judgment that this gen next to the hook is the vast majority of their progress, but the kill is not going to come in onto Pedro HD. He's not able to get that hook stage all the way down, and now he's got to put Pedro HD to sleep here. He needs a kill. Xeno and iPick are meaningless to him here. Going to be putting Pedro HD to sleep. As what are Ivan and Xeno up to as Pedro HD going to be going down? And I mean, if the gen doesn't come in soon here, Flightless, I'm not sure how Elysium is meaning to reach this win condition, as they're going to be picking up iPick. Neither of these survivors are asleep. Okay, they've got good progress on 2 different gens, but they can't be giving over these last 2 pain rest stacks. These chases from Elysium from now on need to be absolutely perfect, as now Ivan needs to play for his life off of the main building gen. Looks like they're going to be trying to split 3 here. They've got the one over by where the hook was in the corner, as well as that main building. So Jason, you've done well so far, but you are not finished just yet. You need to finish off a few more very difficult chases against these Elysium survivors if you want to meet this win condition. As setting up these dream pallets, he wants to build a little fortress around these generators. Teleporting back now to the other side, both of these survivors are found, and now it's going to be the game of trying to get those pain resonance stacks here for Jason.
iPick greedy that pallet a little bit too much, not being able to get the drop, and also he's not live. He is balanced landing though, so that is going to give him a little bit more time, but I don't think he can do a whole lot here. He vaults his window. He does get a little bit extra time, but I mean, very soon he's going to go down. There's nothing he can do to stop it. There's no pallets around, nothing. Gets an eruption on Ivan's gen and on Xeno's gen, and also going to be a pain res. Now the advantage here is that Jason has gotten a lot of regression all at once, meaning he can chase Ivan and go for his pain res, and this could be a 4K too.
So both of these survivors have now just woken up with clocks. So I think that's the correct play here from Elysium. You want to be awake. Whatever the killer does next here, you need to be awake. So Ivan and Xeno going to be splitting up their duties here. And Xeno gets found stealthing again, Flightless. This is devastating for Elysium. You needed to stay hidden there, as now Xeno can't go for the unhook. And that's going to mean the death hook, Ivan, is forced to come in for the save on iPick. Or is he potentially working that gen for the win con? As Jason vaulting the shack here. Xeno, you need to juice at the shack while injured. Dream Snare coming out, going to miss. Nice dodge from Xeno. He makes the window, and now I think Jason might end up being forced to leave this chase, Flightless. This is super important. He's still dodging those Dream Snares, makes it back around back shack towards the pallet as well. Where is Ivan? He's got to be working that gen, right? As iPick is so close to going second.
Yeah, it looks like, oh my god, that is huge from Xeno. That getting found like that is the worst thing that could have happened, but then Xeno made a comeback. He was able to have a chase, taking a hit to try to delay the pain res as long as possible. Still doesn't make it. That gen must have been like 99.9%. Is he going to fully leave this? He does. He teleports onto Ivan. Not even working the main gen, was working a completely different gen. Does he make this pallet? He does make this pallet. Good play from Ivan there. He has to win this. He wins that. That is huge momentum shift. And now the teleport is on cooldown, so the survivors will be able to heal, or at least get some heal progress. Although...
Yeah, that's a sleeping survivor there, participating in a heal with the killer instinct. Ivan basically in chase using a clock there. Gonna wake himself up and get right back on that gen. And now, I mean, this is going to be chaos for the survivors here. Elysium needs to finish at least one more gen. Jason needs to hold on to this setup here. I mean, he's got iPick injured. Ivan is dead on hook. He has options here, but he needs to actually finish these chases. And that's going to be iPick balanced landing into the basement to waste as much time as possible. What an interesting play, Flightless. And that's going to result in that 4th gen being popped and Elysium securing at least a tie.
Yeah, they are primed here to pop another generator. There is no more Oh, Paint Thinner actually coming in clutch, allowing a teleport onto Ivan. Wait. Does he commit? Does he commit to this, though? Okay, no, he doesn't. Ivan not getting hit in that chase that he had earlier was huge. There's no words to describe that. If Ivan had been injured, he would have been chased, and then he would have been another pain res. And there was no way that they were popping that gen in the 2v1. Now, oh, and Xeno being able to get that lithe off and rapid, so that rapid response so that he sees the aura. Ivan gets the save from basement. Now this is difficult. Although the gens are quite split, they do have that main gen, which is going to be hard to do because although it's pretty difficult for both sides. It's difficult to do because it's very unsafe, but at the same time it's really out of the way. Xeno going for a window tech there, and Jason getting stuck, so not really knowing what to do about it.
I don't hate that at all from Xeno. He clearly lost the mind game on that window, so the window tech is a last-ditch effort from him to avoid the hit as Xeno holding W down towards this TL. He's got one filler and a TL wall. Not going to survive too long there, but Xeno is not dead on hook. I pick, we can see him on a gen with relatively little progress, as I think that was the main gen there. Now the real question is, what is Ivan up to right now? As iPick going to be waking himself up with a clock. Ivan still not on our radar here, as these gens are not super close together. But in the 3v1 here, it can be more difficult for Jason to hold on to, as goes for the window hit, not going to land. Ivan almost asleep here. He's forced to play this double window, goes for the firecracker, gonna not land there, and he's going to take the hit. Xeno picked up in the distance. Ivan needs to get out of this gen setup right now. Not and able to avoid these dream pallets also. He goes down here to the hinder. He's going to get hindered up. Has one small filler pallet here, but he gets hit through it. Flightless just a little bit too late on that drop. And that's going to be Jason putting us into the 2v1 there, as flashlight not going to work. Xeno now in chase once again, misses the swing, but this is a pallet gym only. As, he does have the pallet, but a little bit late on the vault there, as now looks like Jason is going to be securing this 4K1, and I think we're going to be seeing a tie.
Yeah, this was like Jason played this super well, but I think the main thing was Xeno getting found twice playing for the pull. Like, he was stealthing in good positions, but he just ended up getting found. And although that chase at Shack really changed the momentum of Xeno not being instantly 2-tab and being able to pop another gen, that would have been 4K2 had Xeno not had that chase. Had his chase been a little bit shorter on that Shack, that would have been a win for Team Blizzard. I have no doubt in my mind about it, because that would have been an instant pain res. And
already starting to throw down these pallets.
Yeah, and going with the exact same build that he did before with the paint thinner add-on again. Like I said, I don't really like this add-on, but I know a lot of Freddy mains who say that it's actually really good. But also the Ruin. Now Ruin did spawn in Shack, which on paper is pretty good because now you like have a pretty good area to defend it with, but at the same time it's really easy to find. So that could mean that Ruin is gone very early. Pedro losing that 50, although he takes a good hit, so now he's able to go towards Shack. Ruin already gone. This is why I hate hex perks. There's so much RNG involved in keeping them, and now he's down to 3 perks. Soon to be 2 if once his corrupt is gone. Wins that 50 as well. Pedro going on a generational run right now. Wins that as well. Wins the vault. Does he have a body block coming out soon, or is he just going to take the down? Looks like he's going to take the down. Okay, this is a much better start for them, because last game, if you remember, Xeno got injured, and then Pedro got injured shortly after going for a head-on. Now they only have 1 injury and a hook. So this is a much better start for Team Elysium.
Yep, good stuff so far for Elysium. That was a great first chase from Pedro, and notably, Xeno and iPick both waking themselves up with clocks. As Ivan not quite asleep just yet either, as stealthing away from the gen there, walking over into the corner. Ivan now in chase here with Jason. Gonna be playing this relatively weak window, put to sleep there. Got a filler pallet. Gonna be running back around, greeting it a little bit. Ivan able to, I mean, he's still playing this filler pallet, not dropping it just yet. Takes the snare and the hit, and now over towards this pallet gem. Runs past that fake pallet there, but Jason not going to be triggering the explosion. Instead, going back to the hook now. Puts down Eruption on this gen, and Elysium should be taking that slowdown time to try to get Pedro out of here. They can't give up a tunnel out here if they want to pop all the gens. It's now Ipic in chase. If they're able to continue these fresh hook chases onto Jason, deny that tunnel out, gonna be really good for them here as the pallet explosion not going to land. Ipic takes the snare, gonna be hit up there with the M1 running back down the map. Now, I mean, if Jason commits to this, a lot of gen progress could be coming in for Elysium, as now Ipic down towards the other side of the map, but the pallet explosion, he saw it too late there, Flightless. That was a really satisfying backflip to see there. Nice pallet play from Jason.
Yeah, Ipic not remembering that the pallet does not spawn next to the window. It spawns opposite of the window, so he ends up taking a down there. Looked like Pedro and Ivan were about to kiss for a second until they just started snapping out instead. Although I actually think that going for a clock there would have been even better, because then you would have the immunity and obviously no downtime between Ivan leaving. But this is still a good start for Jason. I don't agree not going for the tunnel here, because I think that would have, getting a death this early when you only need to have one gen remaining on the map is pretty huge. So not going for that tunnel out is definitely a decision I don't agree with, but maybe it works out, because it looks like most of the gens, if not all of them, are regressing right now.
Yeah, still at 5 gens here is Elysium, but one going to be finished there right as I say that, and I suspected that they had significant progress at least somewhere in exchange for those 2 fresh hooks, as Xeno now, that's 2 generators that are quite close together, are they not? That Xeno just ran between there. It looks like the trade going to be coming in here from Ivan. Jason not able to body block the hook. One hook comes in from Ivan, and that's going to be Ipic running away from the hook. Ivan picked up. It's going to be a trade with a pain resonance, and Jason now off again. Not really tunneling yet, or, I mean, maybe ever. It's interesting play so far from him as he's teleporting now over towards this gen. Gets the killer instinct there. I believe this was the gen that Pedro was working on. He's actually able to find Ipic during his potential reset as well, but he's going back. Very interesting here. Maybe going for Pedro HC. This guy already has a hook stage on him. And Flightless, I'm finding it hard to figure out what Jason's strategy here is. It looks like he's trying to do a lot of different things at once.
Yeah, he's trying to... It looks like he's trying to multitask the hook stage at this point. I don't really know. I think this is a really big misplay from Jason, because like he's camping these hooks, which is perfectly fine. Getting a survivor to second stage is pretty big, but he's not actually getting them to second stage. They're saving last second, and then he's just taking the trade. He's not pressuring the map. If you're going for these fresh hooks, that's fine, but you're not pressuring anybody. They're able to just do the gens while you sit here and do nothing. So I think this is a big misplay from Jason. Now, for all that time that he spent, they've been able to pop 2 generators while having another high progress, and he only now has a death hook with 1 pain res left. I don't know how this could go for Jason. These survivors are going to have good chases still, but I definitely think that because of this, they can meet this win condition of popping all 5 generators.
Yeah, so here's what's going to happen here. Elysium is making a gambit that they're going to wait until the last possible second to save Ivan. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see yet another play like they did in the last set, where somebody almost intentionally shows themselves for a down or a locker pull or a trade, as Xeno here going to be trading onto Ivan. And honestly, it's a little bit earlier than I would have liked, but Xeno able to get it there, and that's going to be a pickup and another Pain Resonance trade. This is his last stack of Pain Resonance. Ivan and Pedro are working on separate generators. So it looks like what Elysium is trying to do here is get down to 1 gen with 4 survivors alive, which I think is a really good play, as Pedro going to be hindered up on the edge map here. He's going to need to go somewhere stronger here, as Jason playing slow, going to be putting down the eruption on that gen, channeling the teleport here, and it's actually going to confirm it there over to the main building. He needs to find these resets, as Zeno and Ivan found here on the edge map. These survivors are awake, so pallet explosion coming in there. Skirting around it, though, is Ipic. Going to be missing the hinder as well. Ipic makes the backside of this 4-lane, the stronger portion of it, and Jason forced to waste a little bit more time on this 4-lane, goes all the way into the corner, and that's going to be quite a bit of time bought for Elysium. Ipic going to be picked up and hooked here, but this is not a kill. Tie condition here on Pedro HC's gen, as it looks to be about 70%. And what are Ivan and Zeno up to? That's going to be really important here. Zeno is about to fall asleep. This is going to give information to Jason. Teleport coming in, Flightless, and they can't afford to heal like that. Zeno needed to be woken up immediately.
Yeah, that is a huge misplay from Elysium. They definitely should have stopped the heal, knowing that there's no sloppy butcher, so you don't have to worry about the regression. And they should have just woken up, because now Jason is in a really good position. He's about to get another 2-tap. That is huge, and he knows exactly where Pedro is.
Okay, but they're able to get the tie condition.
While you were speaking, I was thinking to myself that this is really good for the survivors, because if they play slow, get their resets off, Jason has no pain res, and he has to spend time getting eruption. And eruption, while it's still a good perk, doesn't do a huge amount of regression. So Jason was in a bad spot because of that play where Ivan didn't get reset and now Zeno was then 2-tap. This is looking like a win for Jason, because now...
Yeah, and I've got to correct myself here, because this is a tiebreaker set. There is no tie condition. If Elysium doesn't pop 5 gens, they lose. Simple as that.
Yeah, exactly. They have to pop one more generator. Now, they do have a slight advantage where there's no pain res left, and like I said, eruption is good, but it doesn't win games on its own. But they have all injured, 1 death hook, and now an injured person in chase. And he just goes through the pallet. You
can't be giving up a down like that when you could have been dropping shock pallet, as Zeno going to be put up on his 2nd hook here. I mean, at least it's not the death hook survivor, and at least there are no pain reses remaining. But dropping that dream pallet is Ivan on the shack, and he's clearly stalling for something here that Pedro HC is doing in the background. Where is that Adam is the question here. Going to be farming Zeno off of the hook here, and Pedro HC solo working a gen. Dream Pallet Explosion going to be coming in. Tag onto Ivan. We've got 2 injured survivors at the shack. How long can they survive? They're not going to be able to command Jason's attention for long enough, as he knows what this Adam is up to. Gets the eruption down on the gen. Smart plays from Jason. And now, I mean, both of those survivors, Zeno and Ivan, going to have to do clocks, wake each other up. Looks like they're not even choosing to do clocks. They're waking each other up, which doesn't give you the invulnerability window to the sleep, adding even more to Jason's pressure, as now Pedro HC vaults back into the killer there with the hinder. I can't really blame him. And now Jason going to be deciding between getting the hook and going for the reset here. I think he's got time to go for the hook.
I don't see a world where Elysium can win this. Yes, he has no pain res, but at the same time, he's hooked on the... Pedro is about to be hooked on the same side of the map, where there is no gen... The only gen progress on the entire map. It has been regressed almost to 0. That gen was like 60%, and now it's like 5%. And they've only just now finished the reset with everyone death hook. I don't think this is possible. They're going to have either amazing stealth which Xeno's being found, and so is Ivan because he dropped that dream palette. Paint Thinner becoming... Wait. No, that was a teleport onto the generator. Never mind. But Ivan being found instantly and an instant tag as well. Yeah, I don't... Yeah, there's nothing here for Ivan to really chase on. There's just this this structure. That is it, with no gem progress. And Jason has just about as much time as he wants. Loses
Nice
that.
play there from Ivan with the flashbang or the firecracker. And
He's
now
leaving?
actually Jason forced to leave. Really nice dodge there from Ivan, buying himself a little bit more time. And Flightless, the stakes could not be higher here. Every down for Jason is a kill. Elysium needs to stay alive here if they want to have any chance of finishing this last gen. Healthy survivor body block coming in from Xeno. Elysium is digging deep here to try to finish this last gen, but they just don't have enough progress. As Xeno getting on a gen with barely anything on it is now Ivan gonna be... that's a fake pallet, Ivan. They're just... or Pedro. They're running out of resources as Pedro gonna be killed here. And oh man, what is that camera perspective? That was pretty silly. As yeah, Xeno not able, or Ivan not able to get much progress on this gen. Now in the 2v1 with both survivors dead on hook, it's looking more and more like this is going to be Blizzard taking the win.
Yeah, this was... I will be 100% honest. This was definitely a loss for Team Blizzard at the beginning. With Jason not getting a tunnel out for a 4K1 win condition, where he just gets 4K1, he wins no matter what. There's no tie, there's nothing. He wins, period. And the survivors only needing 4K0 to win. Definitely getting a tunnel out was the play, and based on that start, he definitely could have, but he chose not to, and it put him in a bad position. And the survivors were in an amazing position until that misplay, them not waking up and getting the heal off, really just screwed them. And now they have no pallets left. They have this one pallet, and that's it. And I think the only jump progress they have is maybe like 40%. It's really not that much. So Xeno is going to have the world's longest chase on absolutely nothing. And why he's deciding to leave, making sure that they definitely do not pop this. Is there a world where they out this?
I really don't think so, Flightless. As I mean, Jason, he's happy to just break all these pallets that he's been leaving up for most of the game. Because the only way you throw this as Jason is if you just like absolutely throw a chase on a couple of connecting fillers. And it's going to be the kill here onto Ivan, throwing that fake pallet. And flashlight coming in from Xeno, not going to work. And that is surely going to be it here for Blizzard, securing the win as soon as Xeno goes down here onto on this 4 lane that has nothing left. And just very nice play there from Jason. Like you said, at the beginning, it was looking really good for Elysium, but that one critical error that they made with the heal, Xeno's timer ticked up and put him to sleep at the worst possible time. They needed to stop that heal. Jason, credit to him, he took advantage of that blood in the water and converted it into a win for Blizzard.
That is literally the peak example. Very well known Spirit Man. So they've definitely looked into that and picked some of the better survivors. And there's also something people don't think about. It's not just about the actual sound volume of the survivors, their footsteps and everything. It's also the frequency of their injured noises. Some survivors make injured sounds a little bit less often. So obviously that's also good too. But instantly chasing Ivan, Ace, one of the most common comp survivors ever, like probably the best comp survivor, has one of the best movements that people consider, and also very quiet. Very quick chase though, and I'm liking this build. No pain res, so you can't regress those gens on the other side of the map. But
immediate basement for Jason.
Yeah, immediate basement with Agi, so this is a very fast hook, and also Eruption Dragon's Grip is going to make this 3-gen really hard to break. Because Azerob's resting place, very well known for its 3 gens. We can see a gen on the middle, 3 gens on the other side, and then You have 3 behind you.
Yep. 3-1-3 split here for Jason. And really good first chase there onto Ivan. And you were talking about the survivors' injured noises. And with survivors, oh, okay, never mind. I'll hold that thought. Fast pull coming in onto Ivan. You can tell that Elysium does not want to let Jason get ahead of them on the tempo here. They're going to deny that proxy camp and just immediately pull Ivan out of the basement. FaZe coming out now. Ivan in mending already. One shot away from being downed. And that's going to be Zeno vaulting into the killer and taking an injury. I don't know about that one, Flightless. That's not going to get you very much distance for Ivan. But what it is going to do is lead to a faster snowball for Jason later in the match, as Ivan going to go down once again on this pallet. And yeah, that's going to be a second hook here onto him, still on this side of the map. And you don't make basement here, Jason, but this is still a good hook off in the corner.
And Zeno's already used his inner strength. They do pop 2 gens because no pain res, but I mean, this is looking like a very good start for Jason. Although he did get that tag on Zeno, and Zeno's now healed, Zeno also uses inner strength, meaning he's not going to be able to use it later. So even though he doesn't get a free down from this injure, that still gets a free heal out of the way. And what is more classic in competitive Dead by Daylight than survivors playing ace and Zeno vaulting into killers? Zeno forcing chases is the most common thing in Dead by Daylight, I think.
Yeah, and it does look like a decent gen progress for Elysium until you realize that they have not done anything to deal with the 3-gen, and that's Zeno getting found on the unhook stealth again, as he's going to be zoned off from the hook here by Jason. Gonna have to do something here. He's the only survivor nearby for the save. Hook timer getting lower on Ivan. Jason doing a really good job to block so far. He's not going to be able to do it all the way, though. That was very close there. Almost worked out for Jason to get almost a free kill, as Ivan now in his final chase. He needs to make it down the map here towards the shack. Still got the endurance there. Actually clips into the Spirit's character model there, and he's going to be able to make this jungle gym pallet now. His endurance surely gone by now. Ivan gonna need some help from a teammate to make that shack. FaZe coming out over towards the bus. Does he make anything here? I don't think he does. Ivan goes through the pallet there and is downed. Gonna need to have some sort of save or something here, but Ivan, he's gonna be dead here at 2 gens remaining.
Yeah, Zeno was setting up for that pull because as you saw from his perks, he has Unbreakable and For the People, meaning if he can get that unhook and For the People, then he can just be slugged right after and he can pick himself back up. But unfortunately, he got found on the stealth, meaning he wasn't able to get it. But for that, at the very least, they did pop the 3-gen. Although they do have that gen mid-map, it is a very good gen for the survivors. If Jason is playing topside and Zeno already found again, Zeno's stealthing seeming to just not really work out that well today. He's having a hard time. Although Saga is pretty quiet. She is a hard survivor to find. Maybe if he can win this pallet, he does win that pallet. Okay, that is huge. Now the survivors, iPick and Pedro, have had time to rotate. They're probably getting on their gens as we speak, and or someone is playing for the pull already, expecting Zeno to die very soon, as he should, considering it is Spirit. Wins that vault though. Does he have anything to play with over here? He has his pallet gem, but was it used before with Ivan's chase? It was not. Okay. Zeno decides to greet it, knowing that Jason can just play the... and it goes down. He knew that Jason, if he dropped that pallet, he could just stand in front of it with the phase, and the husk would block Zeno if he happened to vault that pallet. So Jason could just force a vault, and he would be instantly dead after that. So he tried to mind game while saving the pallet, so completely understandable. But that chase did last quite a while, so that means they might have a lot of gym progress and have had plenty of time to rotate.
Hold on a second, Flightless. The 3-gen is broken. We've got this mid-gen as well as one on the bottom side, and only 2 actually on the top side here, as the middle gen on this map is significantly closer towards the shack, so it can't really be considered a 3-gen with the top side anymore, as the save is going to come in onto Xeno, and it's not going to be a trade. iPick getting hit there as Xeno throwing the pallet. Now iPick needs to come up with something here to dodge this phase. Maybe a bounce landing coming out off of the hill. iPick able to confuse Jason a little bit and run back towards the pallet jam. We're looping with friends, and iPick opting to go off into the corner here, telling us something about those gens on the bottom side, surely, as iPick going to be picked up the fresh hook. But these fresh hooks are less valuable right now because there's no pain resonance in play. This isn't going to be any extra regression here for Jason. He's going to need to use that phase to get mobility down to the other side of the map. And where has Pedro HC been this entire time? Has he been working a gen? Is he stealthing for the save? These are the questions that Jason needs to ask himself as they pop the middle gen, solidifying a really, really nice split for Elysium here in the 3v1.
Yeah, and it looks like, I believe maybe Pedro and iPick were stacking that gen earlier, and then iPick decided to rotate for the pull on Xeno. So they didn't have split progress. They were able to pop one gen for this, but now Xeno is in chase, although he's on the opposite side of the map. So that gives Pedro plenty of time to pull and reset. So they should be in a pretty good spot after this chase, but then they're going to have a death hook survivor. And without pain res, that doesn't mean a ton because we don't have a 3 gen anymore. But with Dragon's Grip Eruption in the 3v1, that really slows down the game. A healthy survivor cannot risk getting on one of these gens when they can get exposed right after. Giving a free down like that is huge for the Spirit. So being able to wait out that Dragon's Grip will keep you from getting exposed, but plenty of regression. And in the 3v1, that regression means a lot.
Yeah, and maybe we haven't impressed upon you enough the danger of the Dragon's Grip, specifically in this set. The Spirit is a killer who uses only basic attacks and is extremely good at chasing a 1v1 survivor. As iPick going to be taking a hit and going for a trade here at the hook. If you get hit by that Dragon's Grip, it's basically like being injured against Spirit. As iPick going to be trading up, and Xeno going to be taking a endurance hit there, running back towards the shack. The pallet is there, so Jason going to be opting to take the hook onto iPick instead. And Xeno is going to be potentially the tunnel out here. Shack pallet is up and going to be dropped by Xeno. I mean, there's no other play to make here when you're injured against Spirit. As now FaZe coming out from considerable distance here. Jason, can you track down the Saga towards the middle of the map now? And he's going to find him in a place without a pallet that was already used by Ivan earlier. Goes for the swing, but it's gonna miss. Actually, Xeno making the pallet, and Pedro HC finishes the final gen over there in the bottom side of the map. And now Jason thinks that he can find that healthy survivor. Nope, now back towards the other way, as yeah, he's trying to zone both of these survivors off of the door and the unhook of iPick at the same time. Dragon's Grip now completely out of the picture, Flightless, as there are no more gens to put it on, and this is a really interesting situation for Elysium.
Yeah, this is a huge momentum shift. Xeno, I think, still has Unbreakable, by the way, so if he happens to slug this, then it won't matter because he can just pick himself up. Now, Jason, never mind.
Slugging this is the right play here.
He might try to greed for the 4K0. That definitely, never mind. He's going to pick.
Picking up.
He does have both gates topside, so I can see why he picks here because even though they do get the reset off, the survivors have to come to him to be able to open these gates. And although Spirit, as soon as she uses her phase, it goes on a very long cooldown, even with the Rusty Flute. That means that he can just stand in between the gates and see both of them. And as soon as he sees one survivor on a gate, he just phases over to them, and if it's Pedro, then that could be 11 stages, which is basically a 4K0. But if it's iPick, that could be 9 stages. So there is a huge opportunity for them to make big gains. I think the play here is probably for iPick to rotate topside, try to get on one of these gates, and Pedro stay bottom and try to play for hatch. Because if iPick gets killed, then he gets out. If he opens the gate, then iPick is out, and Pedro can maybe stealth for either the gate or the hatch.
Yeah, and what we're seeing right now is that Jason knows that neither of these survivors made it into the top side. They are both just standing here on the bottom side of the map. And yeah, so what I wouldn't be surprised to see, Flightless, if what you just predicted comes true, is I wouldn't be surprised to see iPick run down to the top side, take a chase, get downed, and then bleed out entirely. Because Pedro HZ cannot get found here as the fresh hook survivor. They're gonna want to make Jason choose between basically giving Pedro HZ the hatch and letting iPick down to the top side to do a door. As like we've said before, hatch does actually matter because all of the gens have been popped by Elysium here. So Jason is just content to stand in the middle of the map and look back and forth because he knows that neither of these survivors have been able to make it through to the top side. And these survivors are going to eventually get, or crows, aren't they?
No, actually,
okay, no, they're turned off.
Yes, in DBDLeague and the custom settings, you're able to turn off two things that you normally have in public matches. That is anti-camp, so that way your teammates don't even see the anti-camp meter, so you don't even know if the killer's on the hook, if it's a self-killer, and also crows, meaning that these survivors could literally sit here for the next 5 days and not get crows. Jason has plenty of time, but so do the survivors. So if they can somehow bait him into coming bottom side and going chase, or either they can somehow get past him, then that is definitely doable. But I think we're at a standstill here. I don't think there's any way either of them can do anything. If Jason goes for the survivors, Pedro is definitely going to be the survivor stealthing the hardest. He's going to be the hardest to find, 100%. But both survivors are going to be ready to cross, just in case iPick gets found, Pedro can make it across. If Pedro gets found, same thing for iPick. So they're definitely going to be waiting for Jason to overcommit. At the same time, Jason has no reason to overcommit. This choke point is very deadly. There's no way the survivor can get past without him seeing, unless he decides to turn his eyes off for a moment.
I think the only thing I can think of here for the survivors is to maybe walk up into the tile that's directly in front of him. Maybe that's somewhere he's overlooking as he continues to just watch this cross back and forth to the left and right. As it looks like iPick inching his way closer to the choke point here. Pedro HC also inching his way closer as he does have the lithe. It's got to be a use of an exhaustion perk here once Jason spots either of these survivors, but that balanced landing is not going to be triggerable here in the middle of the map for iPick. Pedro HZ still not really sure what to do. This is such an interesting situation that we rarely see. I mean, sometimes we see small examples of this situation on this map, but it's usually during the middle of the game, and the killer can't always be sure who is where. So it's usually an educated guess. But here in this situation, we know for a fact that Jason is 100% sure of where the survivors are. Pedro HC now moving up to the choke point. It looks like the survivors might actually be making a move here. And I think it's actually... I actually like this play that Pedro HZ is showing himself here, because what you want to do is you know that iPick is not going to care at all about iPick. If he's going to go for iPick here, he's immediately going to run back for Pedro HZ after canceling that phase. So now, if Pedro is able to show himself, he's getting down to the other side of the map now. iPick in chase, but now, okay, both survivors are breaking into the top side of the map now. Phase coming out from Jason. Pedro HZ in chase. He's made it into the top side without a hit just yet. He does not have a pallet to play, though. Going to be taking a hit and possibly going down the map. iPick needs to be on a door very quickly here. iPick getting on the door now. Pedro HZ in chase here with the Spirit. Catches that lithe, but he's actually going to play slow. Jason, he's going to injure up both survivors Flightless, and that is such a smart play from him.
Wait, actually, no, it isn't, because Pedro HZ, Jason maybe not expecting it, has self-care botany. He does have a med kit, but his med kit doesn't have enough charges, so it doesn't matter. He's able to fully heal, and now he has survivors completely split. And if iPick goes down, it's kind of okay for the survivors, because Pedro is in prime position to go for this hatch. And if he slugs him, then Pedro has plenty of time to cross up for the gate, and it looks like he's just going to send it.
What
This
is
is
this?
risk.
This send from Pedro is insanely risky. We Jason
Wait,
here.
he
Do
makes
you
it.
understand what's going on here, we Jason? I don't think he does. Pedro HZ has finished the door. Insane game sense here from Elysium. The fresh hook is going to make it out. 9 stages only for Wee Jason. And what a play there, Flightless. Amazing catch there on the self-care, making the difference in the end for Elysium.
Yeah, that was huge. Usually self-care is used for like if you happen to go for an unhook and you have to trade, and then you can let your teammate come pick you up, and then you can just, after they pick you up, they can rotate and you start healing yourself. But in this case, in the end game, it absolutely carried them. And I don't know if people noticed this, but the survivors actually made a really good play. There was no winning in that situation for either side. They they either have to show themselves and force chase. It's going to be very difficult. And we do have the exact same build, which I do not hate whatsoever. I think this is a great build. Had we Jason had his 3 gen, had he been able to keep it, that could have been a very, very different story. He wasn't really able to get value out of his eruption. So I wonder if Obi's going to be able to get it this game.
Yeah, and I'd like to explain to chat here why Obi is tapping that phase. Because it might look really strange to you guys at home if you don't play the Spirit at a super high level, as when you tap the phase on this killer, there's a little bit of a shimmer where the survivors disappear. As Chase already starting here onto Zube, there's a shimmer when the survivors disappear as the phase begins. And if the Spirit can actually see a survivor on her screen, but maybe it's too far away and Obi hasn't noticed it, tapping the phase will make that survivor shimmer at range, alerting Obi to their presence.
Yeah, because in phase you lose sight of the survivors. They completely disappear. But it doesn't work like normal where they just kind of phase in and out of existence. They actually have this little fire effect. So it is kind of like a bright light almost. So spamming the M2 makes it a little easier to maybe notice a survivor hiding in a corner or anything like that. So as Prion explained, yeah, tapping the M2 can help you find survivors pretty easily. And this is looking like a pretty slow start. Corrupt is already gone without even an injury. And is he going to be able to hit this phase? He does not, but playing a very, very short pallet. So this should be an M1, which actually an M1 is huge here because Shaq is already gone. This could be a very quick 2-tap. We see Paula getting his inner strength up for later on. Wins that. Nice. That is a very good down because not only does he have a 3-gen here, he has a 4-gen. This mid-gen usually spawns like more towards the middle of the choke point, but this time it spawned more on bottom side. So it is much easier to defend. And look at this. Obi has a hill. He has Pride Rock that he can just sit on top of and see basically everything. He knows the survivors are not working that gen over by Crane because it was corrupted. So there's no one over there, at least getting progress. He sees the mid-gen, it's regressing. He knows no one's there. The other 2 gens were also corrupted. So he knows there can only be one survivor here, and he finds them. He finds Wee Jason immediately. That is huge, because now someone else has to rotate for this pull. This is an amazing start for Obi. In fact, this might even be a 2-tap.
Wee Jason here, unable to dodge the phase there. The pallet drop comes in too late, and that's going to be a survivor downed near on the side of the hook. Zub going to second stage relatively soon. That's going to be a trade coming in from Powa, able to save his teammate before second stage, as now Obi going for another phase here, looking for that survivor. He's going to find the survivor he wants, Zub, but he's still got endurance, so he can't hit him just yet. Not going for the pallet drop. Oh, but the endurance just runs out there. Zub didn't want to be confined to playing that 4-lane pallet and greeted for the window. And now Obi free to use agitation to take this ace all the way back down into the 4-gen. So what do you do here if you're Powa and Wee Jason? You're stuck in the 4-gen, but actually these survivors showing themselves here might be telling, okay, never mind. They go for the hook anyways. No hit's going to come in there as it is agitation. So that probably would have been a really risky play for Blizzard.
Yeah, this is exactly why agitation, in my opinion, is the best perk on Spirit. It's the exact same as Nurse. I think Nurse with agitation is so much better than Nurse without agitation. Like, there's been a debate whether Blight or Nurse is better in competitive, and a lot of people are starting to favor Blight. And while I do typically agree, I think agitation Nurse definitely closes that gap. And Obi finds the reset, gets Dragon Grip Eruption on this, finds Power. Looks like we're not even going for the tunnel. Gets another injury OE Jason. This is huge snowball potential. Because we're still on this Fortune side, by the way. Misses that phase. That is huge. Power might be able to make something now. Make something happen. Does not make this pallet, unfortunately. But it doesn't matter because, I mean, there's still so many gens. I don't think it would matter if he got that stun or not, because all he would have done is make Crane, and then Obi would have zoned him back bottom side. It just wasted more time. This is looking very bad for Blizzard right now.
Yeah, on the bright side, both survivors that were injured have now been healed. Zoob, the tunnel out, can just be relegated to working that topside gen, because at this point, if you're Blizzard, you need to just kind of accept that you're getting 4-gen'd. You've given Obi hooks inside this bottom part of the map over and over again. You're not going to be able to break this before it gets down to 2 gens. As now Powa running just in a straight line away from the Spirit towards the top side of the map. Not going to be throwing this pallet gem, and goes for the window, but there's just not enough time there. 15 seconds, it's just not enough. As Powa going to be grabbed up on that window just like Zoob was, and taken back into the bottom side of the map with agitation. And because he has agitation, he can skip that crane hook and go to this deeper one. Now this hook is a little bit further towards the top side than the last one, so that 15 seconds is going to buy Powa a little bit more than it did before, and I think that's where Blizzard needs to make something happen. When these unhooks come in, pallet going to be pre-dropped on the crane, and Obi just kind of forced to break that, as Jason does not want to get injured here playing this crane, and Obi doesn't seem to want to commit to a chase here just yet. He's got a death hook survivor, wants to get as much time bought here as possible, as Jason gonna take a hit, but that is gonna be him. I mean, he's getting hit in the middle of the map. He runs all the way back down to the top side, so that's not a survivor that Obi can afford to care about right now.
Yeah, Obi is finally making the decision to go to Shaq, and that's huge because Fedin has been working that gen this entire time. Is Obi going to let that pop, or is he? Yeah, I guess he just wants to confirm this kill. I mean, even if that does pop, he does still have a 3-gen, so it won't really matter a whole lot.
Yeah, and remember, the win condition isn't even a 4K here for Obi, so he doesn't actually need to kind of change his game plan to go specifically for a 4-gen. It's good that he has one, but it's not a win condition for him. As Fednit going to go down with a trade. Down to 1 gen now is Blizzard and Powa. How much can he make here? He's down to the same 4 lane as he was before. This time he actually makes the window. Phase coming out now. Powa not able to win the mind game there on the window. That's going to be the down. Pickup coming in onto Fednit on the bottom side of the map. And now we're going to be going into the 3v1 with a very tight 3-gen in favor of Elysium. Obi securing this kill now onto Powa. Jason finishing the heal onto Fednit. Any second now. Very close there. They're able to instantly find that heal and hit Fednit. This is really bad for Blizzard, as another injured survivor in the 3-gen with the Spirit. As long as it's not Zoob that's going down here, Flightless, they've still got time. Blizzard is still technically in this match, even though they've just given another hook in the 3-gen.
Yeah, this is why Jason had a 3-gen, that would have been a completely different match, because now he can play for these hooks and still be able to defend these gens. And he knows that they must have progress on the gen that has been furthest away from him this entire time, the gen that Zoob is on. And considering he's seen Jason and he knows exactly where Fedin is, he knows exactly who is here, his final Death Hook survivor. So if he can get this kill, that's basically a guaranteed win for Obi, which he misses that phase. He does have his phase back already because he ended his previous phase a little early. And this is why that tech is so good, because that Husk stopped Zoob from being able to dodge that phase. That was very nicely played from Obi. However, Fennet playing a little aggressive for this gen, I think, because
I like this play a lot from Fednet. He's activating the Dragon's Grip, taking it away from a healthy survivor, and getting the killer off of his Death Hook survivor. This is going to be buying Blizzard just a little bit more time here. Any second that they can get, even if it comes from giving a down in the 3-gen, Fednet is just buying his team just a little bit more seconds here as the hook is going to come in onto Fednet, and Jason and Zoob are doubling that gen. As can Zoob escape from this bottom side without getting found? That is the question here. Obi, he wants to wait for the eruption and Dragon's Grip down onto the gen once again. Fednet unhooked by Zoob. That was really good stealth there from Zoob to be injured and Death Hook dodging the Spirit to get that unhook. Blizzard here is fighting with everything they have to break this 3-gen as Obi searching for Jason. Jason has Urban Evasion, by the way, so really slippery survivor here on the edge map, and it doesn't look like Obi can find him.
Yeah, and that is a huge stealth from Jason. And I assume that Zoob and Fedin are actually playing aggressive, trying to pop this gen over there, because although it did get
their
erupted,
hook stages don't matter.
Yeah, they really don't care about being hooked right now. It is purely about Jason not getting hooked. And Obi knows that, so he is going to commit to this as hard as he can. If he can even get Jason to second stage, that will be a win for Team Elysium because of the fresh hooks.
But he gets the stun. Jason, when it matters the most, extending his chase all the way into the top side here. Zoob and Fednet going to be doubling that gen. Jason has another tile to play here. Can he win this phase? He can't. But it looks like actually they might be healing Flightless as Jason. No, they're actually going to pop the gen. This is a really interesting scenario all of a sudden here. This is going to be the fresh stage onto Jason. He's being carried all the way into the bottom side of the map. Zoob and Fednet are both dead on hook. And the win condition here for Obi is 10 stages. He currently has 3 on Powa, 2 on Zoob, 2 on Fednet, and only 1 on Jason.
Actually, the win condition is 9 stages, because if you remember,
Jason 4
4
fresh. You're right.
Yeah, Jason got 9 stages, 3 fresh. Pedro got out without being hooked, and that completely changes this. If Pedro had been hooked even once, they could let Jason go second stage here. However, they can't now. They have to get this unhooked, and they can't even give one more stage. With gates across the map, and they've only just now reset. So they have to come in for this trade, which by the time they get here, will be just about second stage. And if they happen to mess it up, Jason goes second, and that's a win. And if anyone goes down, which, I mean, considering its Spirit is going to be very, very likely, it's going to be still a win. I believe Fedinit is probably going to have to play for a flashlight save here, or a pallet save or something. I don't think they can do this otherwise.
Oh, he
actually
can't.
Gets the body block.
Obi with the body block on the hook. And they know it's over. They know it's already over. The second that Obi blocks that hook, Jason goes second stage, and that's going to be the win for Elysium in the Spirit set. The double save messed up by Blizzard at the critical moment. Granted, it would have still been incredibly difficult for them to actually get out the door from that position, but still, amazing play from Obi. He's able to secure the 4K0 here in the Spirit set, giving Elysium new life and taking us to the match 5, the Kaneki on Ormond Lake Mine.
Now, I did say I was hoping that this goes to tiebreaker, because I want to see more ghoul. I am tired of these pub ghouls who just bring Centipede, Yamori's Mask, Painrez, DMS, Grim, Eruption. I'm tired of seeing those killer
Even
players.
worse. The ones
Yeah.
that just bring Enduring and just vault into
Oh,
every
yeah.
single pallet.
Yeah, Spirit, Fury, Enduring, Prince of the Unfurtive. Trust me, I know. I've seen those. But they usually are never really that good. Not trying to be mean, I'm just saying they know how to use the power to get injures, and we see a very nice build from Xeno. Okay,
That perk.
as much as I hate it, I agree with it. Especially on this ping. Enduring with Ruin Undying Pain Res. Now, obviously he could have gone Ruin Eruption, would have been safer, but Ruin Undying, trying to keep that Ruin going as long as possible. We also have...
This is already down.
Yeah, really early down on Zoob. See, this is why this map is very good for Ghoul. He has a lot of stealth opportunities, so you can try to hide from his mobility, but as soon as you're found, you're probably dead. And in fact, we find a third survivor here, an FTP.
FTP from Jason. I actually like this play a lot from Blizzard. It's really dangerous to have a survivor on the ground against this killer, because his mobility is so extreme. And now we've got 2 injured survivors here at this weak pallet. This is really bad for Blizzard already, Flightless. That Kagune is coming off cooldown, and we've got Saudi here without anything to really play here. Almost gets a cutoff, but now Saudi is stuck on a pretty bad filler pallet. Does he even make this tile? I don't think he does, Flightless. Able to hop into the locker, though. Okay, that's at least good so far for Blizzard. But Xeno snowballing extremely hard already at 5 gens. This is going to be a pain res here, so even if they have a survivor working on a gen, yeah, that's going to be their only progress removed from the main building, and Xeno immediately slingshotting himself back over to the shack, injuring that healthy survivor who picked up. And now Xeno at the shack here. He's got Satchel Coffee, the cultured add-on setup for the Ghoul here to go for those cutoffs, but he's not actually going to opt to play the shack. Slingshots himself back over towards the hook. He's going to be finding Saudi here a potential tunnel out. Injured Wee Jason there was the one to get the unhook. Bounce landing out now from Saudi. He's going to be able to make this TL wall, but how long do you last on a TL against the Ghoul? 15 seconds have to be up any second now, and that's going to be a down onto Saudi. Second hook coming in already. If Xeno wants it, he's actually going to be protecting his totems here. Chasing further onto Wee Jason in this edge map of the main building, and that's going to be another down. Misplay there from Wee Jason. Xeno is just continuing to steamroll over Blizzard here with his Kagune out as he's over towards the Ormond tile now, getting even more ruin value. Now into chase with Powa, and Zube has to be the last survivor standing here, picking up these survivors, and wow, what a swing through the pallet there from Xeno. He's going to be forced to pick this up, but just this is incredible pressure from Xeno.
Yeah, the survivors didn't know about Enduring yet, and they knew that the enrage was about to end, so he just tried to drop that a little bit late, expecting Xeno to play patient and wait for the drop so that he can enrage vault over, but it didn't matter because he had Enduring. He just swings through because there's no downside whatsoever. And this is looking a lot like the Ghostface match. This is looking like a 4K at high gens remaining. There's a lot of pressure. He gets his enrage back, and this is a survivor who, for all intents and purposes, is close to being dead. Like they will be second stage soon as soon as his Xeno gets
looks like he's
down.
lining up for a cutoff here.
Does he get it?
But he doesn't go back shack.
Okay, that's smart play by Saudi to not go back a shack, because obviously that you can get cut off, and even if you don't, you get the power drop in your zone edge map. So this is a good play from Saudi. Gonna have to vault back. Gets the timing. Very nice play. Does he
Nicely done
make
there
anything?
from Saudi.
It doesn't look like he's going to make anything good. He has this pallet. It actually cuts off Zoob. Going to get more ruin value. Does he get this down? He does not. Okay, the survivors are making a bit of a comeback here. These chases have made a big difference. Never mind, Saudi is down. We do know what gen Zoob was working on this whole time. We know that Jason was playing for reset because we saw him next to Saudi. Now the question is, where is Powa? Is Powa doing main gen or another gen? If I had to guess, he's working the main gen right now, and Xeno probably knows that. Finds Wee Jason stealthing for the pool as well. Okay, never mind. They got some momentum back, but this is still looking very good for Xeno.
Finding
Looks
that
like he
healthy
might.
survivor is so huge for Xeno, as now it's going to be almost impossible for them to safely get this unhook, as now Xeno, I mean, he's back and forth between the unhook and the survivor at Shack. Saudi going to be unhooked here, and Flightless. This is a death hook survivor at 4 gens remaining for Xeno. He's going to be leaving Jason on the ground. Slingshot over to Saudi, and there's just nothing he can do, Flightless. In the blink of an eye there, even goes for the enduring swing there, unable to get the cutoff. Unfortunate for Xeno, but he's able to win the pallet still. Just incredible play from Xeno. Look at this mobility. I mean, the level of mobility that you're seeing from Xeno's second leap is not normal. That's a tech that you have to do called a slingshot, and it requires perfect timing there on the Kagune. And you're seeing Xeno do it again and again to basically appear on top of these survivors with no warning.
Yeah, he's. It looks like he's playing for the 4K4 here. He is trying to make a statement. He is trying to get his survivors such a good win condition that there's no way they throw it. And it looks like he might get it because the only gem progress they have is right next to 2 slugs with Ruin up. So, I mean, as soon as it looks like he's probably wasting time letting Ruin do his work, and then he's going to try to then start hooking people. So if he can find Saudi, then
he had Saudi down just a second ago. I feel like that's kind of a mistake from Xeno to not pick him up.
Yeah, he's greeting for the 4K4. He knew that Zube was going to be working on that gen, so he just tries to get some Ruin pressure. Although Saudi now gets the Ruin, so he's lost all that pressure. He does find him again, and yeah, it looks like he's down. Okay, this is... I don't know if this can be 4K4 anymore without Ruin up, but this can definitely be 4K3. This is looking very good for him.
Yeah, now Xeno making the correct decision, picking up Saudi, confirming this kill, as survivors are going to be resetting in the distance, but they're going to be finishing another gen here. But yeah, Xeno, I don't think you need to greed for the 4K4. You are a part of Team Elysium. Your survivors are certainly good enough to pop these gens. As not finding the survivor he was looking for in the edge map here by the snow piles. Now we've got 1 healthy survivor in Powa and 2 injured. No more Ruin, but still 2 stacks of pain resonance here. And Xeno going to be finding the injured Jason there. And that second non-enraged leap actually perfectly aimed there for Xeno, going to result in a down. And he's still not opting to pick up. Doesn't want the pain res here. Doesn't have the enraged either, so his mobility is going to be a little bit less than usual. As Xeno extending over to the other side of the map, and he's going to find Zube, the other injured survivor. He's got a TL only here, as Zube plays the L side of the wall back around the side, and not choosing... No, he's actually choosing to go into the main building here. Nice pathing there from Zube to get to a little bit of a stronger filler than that TL. He's still going to go down in the end, though. It's going to be another down for Xeno. Jason picked up in the distance, and Xeno continuing to slug.
Yeah, that looked like a lithe play from Zoo, trying to just jiggy and waste as much time as possible, and it worked. It gave them a couple extra seconds, which gave them the time for the pickup, and they might even be able to get a reset if they're going for it, or they get time to rotate. Jason with Sprint Burst going to be able to make it back to the Orman tile. Although this pallet is dropped, I don't believe it is broken. I don't entirely remember. Going to just take the injury, reset any heal progress he has, and also get his enraged. So that way he has his 3rd leap now. That's going to increase his mobility exponentially. He's going to be able to slingshot around and also have a 3rd leap to make even more distance. Although they have a really high progress gen right next to him, and no Ruin and no Eruption. He's going to need Pain Res in order to regress these any meaningful amount.
Interesting going for the vault here is Xeno. These double pallets are relatively safe against Kaneki. But as far as double pallets go, this Ormond Lake Mine variant is actually a pretty weak one, as Xeno still not able to outplay that, because I think Kaneki as a killer is kind of harmed by the double pallets more than most, the way that his power works. As nice mind games there from Zoob. Not going to die to the cutoff either. Oh, but he loses the 50-50. As that's going to be another down onto Zoob. And at this point, looks like Xeno is committing to bleeding this Jake out. Interesting choice, as the Enraged is going to be going away relatively soon. Going to be finding a reset potentially here, or just a stealthing survivor in Powa, as now he's going to be forced to play this relatively weak filler pallet in the top of the main building. What a slide around the side of the pallet, Flightless. Look at that tech from
Oh
Xeno.
my god,
Powa, just nothing he could do there.
that was nothing but sexy. That was just that was nice. Now
And the game is just over off that.
that cutoff gave him enough time to get back and be able to get the slug. So that was very nice from Xeno. I didn't even know you could do something like that. I thought that it would just make you stop in place, but I guess Xeno definitely knows more about Kaneki more than I do.
So I think it actually
playing this killer more.
it actually has to do with the specific terrain at that box pallet. There's a little fence there that's shorter than the boxes, if you noticed. And it's the same sort of logic for why Blight will sometimes slide off of things instead of bouncing. If you've got terrain that's kind of lower, the collision will... You see these yellow fences here. That's what he slid off of. As if the collision is lower, these mobility killers will slide instead of just bumping. So that's how Xeno was able to just smoothly slide around that loop and just absolutely destroy the survivor. Just beautiful piece of ghoul tech there.
And also, just exactly like Ghostface, this is a 4K3. So if we're seeing a repeat of the Ghostface set exactly, then this should be a win for Team Elysium, because they're primed. They are primed to just pop 3 gens and get this over with. Their heals, it's going to be very good for them. And that is exactly why Jason has brought Force Penance yet again. Now maybe...
Yep. And producer there with the mouse was telling us to comment on the ping rule here, that Elysium has opted to take the ping rule build of 4 Decisive Strike, in which the first activation of Decisive Strike must be used whenever it comes up, and then only one of them can be used for the whole game. So Elysium here choosing to sacrifice 3 perk slots in favor of having anti-tunnel.
Yeah, basically what that means is, say Jason hooks every person. He just, he plays nice guy, he plays good guy streak, then he won't get hit by a single DS, and the survivors are basically all 3 perks. But if he decides to tunnel Ivan or Pedro, whoever it may be, and then doesn't get the second stage, doesn't get the pickup in time for DS, then he tunnels someone else later, they can still have DS. So there's a bit
potentially
of
coming in here. Oh, but he gets stuck on the gas tank on the edge of the map here, allowing Pedro to drop that pallet. Unfortunate there. Cut off kind of bumping into the map geometry, as Pedro HZ is holding chase really well at this shack. Flightless. This is exactly what you need in this ghoul set for the survivors. Goes for the fast vault here, and he's going to land that as well. Fully blocking the shack window here is Pedro HZ, as now he's got to dodge some more Kagune leaps, and he makes this weak pallet as well. Back down into the tunnel now. I don't think he's going to make much more, but Pedro HZ has bought so much time in this first chase. This is such a different start than we saw for Blizzard on Survivor.
Yeah, this is a very, very good start. In fact, they about have a gen popped. It's going to get pain res because I think they're trying to force it for Xeno's gen. They're going to get a reset and then be able to stack that gen, making pain res almost null and void. So now Jason is down to, I mean, basically 1 perk. Like, Force Penance can come into play every now and again, but with Ghoul, you can get injuries so quick. I don't know if this perk is going to be that worth it. Now Xeno's playing 50s. He's trying to do the Dan Tech. Does not actually get it done. He did not study Dan's 50 play yet. So he loses. He wins the first one and then loses the second. But
Are we just calling that the Dan palette now because of the game that I casted last week?
Exactly. It is now the Dan palette. I mean, the guy needs something named after him, other than the only survivor to die in their games.
I mean, he already has the Dan filters, right? Which is just not using filters.
Oh yeah, true. Well, no, he uses monitor filters. People forget this. He is a dirty cheater. He uses monitor filters instead of reshade. But anyway, now
their bite there onto Pedro HZ. As I mean, we've got one hook here onto Zeno. He did actually opt to slug out there, and Zeno gonna be put or no, Pedro HC was unhooked. Sorry about that. And now he's in chase at Shaq again. Vault coming in from Lee Jason and a double vault as well. I'm curious that Pedro HZ is opting to take Shaq again, and that's gonna be a body block here from Zeno in the endurance, despite the fact that he's already injured with a hook state, and that's because the decisive strike is in play. Zeno wants to take it down here for Pedro, and not only that, Flightless, but Zeno has the decisive strike. He also has Medal of Man, which is now 2 out of 3 charges.
Yeah, he is. This is why Decisive Strike is much stronger than some people realize, because you can
What a play there
not
on the
just
window.
use it for defense, you can use it on offense.
And he's picking.
There we go. I mean that. I mean, if that doesn't spell this game over, I don't know what will. Because now Pedro is got plenty of distance on Shaq. I mean, he doesn't make anything, but he makes his pallet. But that is about it. He wins that as well. Doesn't win the window vault. Looks like Zeno's just playing with his teammate, and
that's it.
That is over. I mean,
Elysium taking the win here over Blizzard on the Kaneki set. I mean, an extremely decisive faction as well, huh? As 3 generators have been popped now, and all of the survivors are swarming in to pick up Pedro HZ by the Shack. It's like a clown car of Elysium survivors just rolled up at the Ormond Shack as Jason gets the bite onto Ivan. Pedro HZ still on the ground. Gonna go for the pickup now. No save or anything coming in. And that's 3 survivors broken from Forced Penance.
that is hey, that's good perk value, I guess. It came in clutch when he needed it most. It was 1 gen too late. I mean, still, like, this is a good position for him. Obviously, the survivors are kind of giving it to him because they can try stuff. They can do whatever because they've already met win condition. But I mean, if I was in this position in setting the win condition, I'd feel pretty good so far. Ivan playing these 50s. Maybe this is the Ivan palette. Go to the Dan palette, see what happens. Never mind. He loses the 50 on the launcher instead. And it looks like we're going to go for the slugs. They're just doubling this gen, trying to get 4K1. They actually get it somehow. They've left Pedro for too long. Zeno's going to go in for the trade, it looks like. Wait. Okay, no, never mind. He doesn't have metal active yet. And
He was 2 out of 3 on Medal of Man for that entire time, but Elysium going to all be put on the ground now, but not without good reason. Elysium taking this win 3-2 over Blizzard on the Ghoul set. Just incredible play from both their survivors and Zeno on the killer side. And what do you know, Flightless? My prediction has been flawless again.
Yeah, there were a few hiccups in there, you know, like the artist set honestly just was, I don't know, it looked like Blizzard just simply played it better. There wasn't any glaring mistakes that either team made. It was just, you know, Elysium just not doing as well as Blizzard. Simple as that. With Ghostface, I mean, Zeno just did Zeno things and got an basically impossible win condition for Jason. Freddy was a bit of a mess, but we'll forget about that because Spirit was clean from Team Elysium, and so was Ghoul. Blizzard had done very well today, but Elysium are just on a different level today, it seems.
Yeah, really well done here from Elysium and Zeno, their captain. Blizzard, they did play really well today. They put up an amazing fight, were able to take it all the way to the match 5. Always a pleasure to see them play as well. But that is going to be it for the first set of the day, guys. But don't go anywhere. There's going to be so much more action today.